God damn. God damn indeed.
Yes. Yes, goddamn indeed. Man. Well, well, well. Yikes. Um, well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of NHP, another edition of the news. This is episode 254 of the news. And with all that, man, let's not waste any time, man. And if this is your first time watching and you guys do not know how the show works, every Monday we are on here with NHP Unscripted, and every Friday at normally 4 p.m. Central. This week, 1 p.m. Central. So I appreciate you guys coming out early to hang out with us, man. With the news, man. If you guys did miss this past Monday's edition of Unscripted, that is episode 235. The AEW Grand Slam Australia ring debacle. We talked about all things. Grand Slam. We talked about SmackDown. We talked about WrestleMania season. We talked about Monday Night Raw, and all that good stuff. We talked about all that good stuff, man. So if you guys did miss Monday's episode of Unscripted, that is available for you guys on all platforms. That is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to see it first, join us right here live every Monday after Monday Night Raw for NHP Unscripted, man. Also, if you guys have not got a chance to get your hands on some of the official NHP merchandise, you guys can now find this live on the merch shop. That is bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video, where you can get this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of merchandise on the merch shop. Again, that is bonfire.com. Links at the top of the description of this very video, man. Also, if this is your first time watching, you guys do not know who your boys are here at NHP. I am Johnny, one half of the host of this very show. And as for the other half, we got my man Sir K here. How the hell are you, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just been chilling out, man. Been chilling out, just waiting. Just been waiting, man. We got Chamber coming up. We got Revolution coming up, and everything's been good, man. Everything's been good, and everything seems to be building very, very interestingly. Which I mean, we'll get into the first story, man. But dude, this Chamber is. Ugh, I have no clue what's going on, man. But I've been doing good, excited. Love being live today, especially today. Love talking about this massive news that dropped yesterday, so always love that. And who doesn't love a Friday, man? But I'm doing good. Like Durante always asks, how's life? How's the family? Life's good. Family's good. How is everybody doing in the live chat? How's everyone doing in the replay? What about you, bro? How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Just chilling. Just chilling, man. Ready to probably go into another 3-hour WrestleMania season discussion here in a minute. But no, man, I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. Just chilling, dude. Just chilling. So yeah, I don't know. Trying to get myself back to a good point, man. So yeah, that's basically about it, bro. That's basically about it. And yes, so as Duranto always asks, I am good, family's good. What about you, Durante? My man, yet again, not a part of the Replay Mafia. He is here now.
Life.
My man, fucking JT, bro. How the hell are you doing,
Feeling
man? How are you doing? Thank you for being here as always, as well as my guy, Hunter, and my girl, Belle. How are you guys doing, man? Thank you guys for joining us as always. And it looks like you guys are all talking about the same topic that we're about to go into. So, Hunter says he got his alcohol serving license.
nice. Congratulations, man.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Are you? I don't. Hmm. I
Right.
did. I thought you. I thought you would have had to be 21 to get something like that. Well, maybe it's different where you. Maybe it's different per state. Wait, no.
Probably is.
Right? Isn't? I don't fucking
I
know.
think some might be different. I'm not too sure.
I don't know. I don't drink. I don't pay attention to those laws.
I have no clue.
But no, that's cool, man. That's cool. That's cool, bro. Um, let's see what else is going on here. Ah, Yes. Sorry, Bell. I just read your comment. It has to be. It has to be. Bell says, if, and that's a big if, The Rock will be at Mania. She says she thinks she thinks he's revealing the Mania 42 location either way. It will be it will be versus Roman because it's not going to have any time for anything else considering it's going to be in a, and then yeah, that's all she leaves us with. But it so okay, so let's just go ahead and get into this whole thing.
Let's get it a
So
rock leg.
okay. Well, man, it's definitely an interesting situation, bro. So WWE puts out yesterday, they put out this press release. They put out this press release, and I'm about to flash it on your screen. Okay. So they put out this press release, and it says the following: The final boss returns to SmackDown tomorrow. February 20th, 2025, WWE, part of TKO Group Holdings, today announced that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will appear on SmackDown live tonight from the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern on the USA Network. Strap in, said WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Levesque. When the final boss shows up at this time of year, the audience knows absolutely anything is possible. Everything could change in an instant. Fans interested in attending can buy tickets here. And then they release the image to your left, which obviously says breaking news: the final boss returns tomorrow, which everybody obviously blew up on the internet. And yeah, so man, this is interesting. Now this is a lot more interesting. Could be bad. I'm not going to say it's entirely bad because The Rock being a part of this Mania season, I will say, is going to make it more interesting. And I'm not one of the people that think this Mania season necessarily sucks. I was going to refrain till after the Chamber to start making
Yeah.
as we're on the build to Mania, but I would say the gap period between Rumble and Chamber, I think instead of 4 weeks should maybe be 3 or maybe even 2. I don't know if that would be too much to do, but just so Mania could have a longer build. But then again, I'm assuming the reason they did that is because Mania is taking place in mid-April, not early April this year, so you technically are still getting a month and a half of build, which is fine. But you know, yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I'm not one of the people that, necessarily thinks this Mania sucks, but I can say so far it's been something just feels like it's missing. And I don't know if it's
Mhm.
and I don't know if it's just, I honestly think a lot of it has to do with a lot of let down expectations. And I will say, normally the fans set themselves up for failure a lot of times, and normally we do. That's just what we do at wrestling as wrestling fans. I mean, we always try to think of the coolest, most epic outcome for things, and obviously when it doesn't happen, it you feel let down. That's normal. But I think with, well, what I'm assuming was, if you would ask me a week ago, what was The Rock's absence? What was The Rock's absence? I honestly think kind of steered Triple H in a direction that nobody really cared for, and it didn't have to, in my honest
No.
opinion. We talked about it on Monday, but they went with a lot of weird things for WrestleMania, or at least up until yesterday, they were going with a lot of weird things that I don't think a lot of people wanted to see for WrestleMania. And again, it's almost like the Rock's absence kind of fucked everything up, but it didn't have to, because either one of the Rock's potential opponents, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, had two other very good options that a lot of people wanted to see them face in Randy Orton for Roman Reigns and not Roman Reigns, Randy Orton for Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre for Roman Reigns. But now again we're going in the direction of Roman, Punk, and Rollins, and then we're going in the other direction of Cody and Cena, which are gonna be good matches, but I can't necessarily say those matches were at the top of everybody's list for WrestleMania. So,
No.
just talking about Mania season, man, before we get into anything else, because there's a lot more. But how are you feeling about just The Rock, I guess, sort of being included now, or maybe the
Man,
possibility, I guess, of him being included into this Mania season?
dude, it's just such a mystery, man, because he has a few options. He has Cody, which at this point option would make no sense because we have the Chamber, qualifying all the guys in the match are set, to see who's gonna face Cody. None of them are The Rock. None of them are even like Roman, to where you think, oh, Rock can insert himself into like a triple threat. Nothing like that, man. So it's very, very much a mystery. And then he has the option of like Roman Reigns, which that leaves the possible, triple threat they want to do with Roman, Punk, and Seth to do their own thing. Dude, which that I may prefer, to be honest. But again, that's even if The Rock is here for Mania, which I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he's just here to announce next year's Mania, but you never know with The Rock. Maybe his schedule, he's clearing it up for this Mania because he's not gonna make another Mania after this. I have no clue, dude. This man, it was his uninclusion from Mania that I think steered things in such a random direction, and now that he's possibly back to be inserted back into this Mania, dude, it's just I don't know. I have no clue because that's why I think Jay won in the first place. They were so thrown off of Mania because Rock just fucking had to dip. That they were like, okay, what do we do? Let's do Jay, and they do Jay, and it's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, man, I don't know. This Mania, and a lot of you mentioned that a lot of people are saying, oh, this Mania build is this, is that. I have my opinions on it, but like you said, I would have waited till Chamber to to
Yeah.
kind of give my opinion on Mania. So far, it's been very not the way I would go. I think there's a lot better roads they could have went that they're taking instead. But overall, there's no bad. It's not a Vince McMahon Mania. At the end of the day, I care about Mania still. I still want to watch the build to Mania. So that's a lot better than a lot of past Manias, man. But it's just you had such a good direction, and I don't know if it was The Rock initially pulling out of Mania that fucked it up, and now he's coming back in. I have no clue about Mania, dude. I really don't.
So, to provide a little more insight, The Rock puts out a comment on Instagram, and it says, "The final boss is coming to handle business, deliver a big, beautiful gift to the city of New Orleans, and fuck up a certain someone's life with the final boss gospel."
Like, because from that alone, that tells me he's here to announce New Orleans Mania. But then he's gonna fuck up someone's life. What does that mean? Is he gonna strip the fucking title from Cody? Is he gonna fucking do this? Is he gonna do that? Is he gonna take Jay's spot? Like, is he gonna take someone out of the chamber and put himself or Roman or like what does this mean?
So, so, uh, okay, so the thing is, the thing is with this, man, you know, so again, you're really, really teetering on a thin line of really pissing a lot of people off here, because you're saying things like You're coming to handle business, right? You're coming to fuck up someone's life with the final boss gospel. You right there, if you're not included at WrestleMania in
That's
some
just
sort
a
of
lot.
match, and again, I see the comment that Rainmaker makes, by the way, what up, bro?
What's up,
About
man?
hosting Mania. To me, that's kind of crazy. If you say you're coming to fuck up somebody's life, or the original tweet that he put out, I put a quote from it in the thumbnail today. Bold and disruptive. Let me see the other thing that he said. Let's see.
It was it
Unpredictable
was
and dangerous. That's what it
yep.
is. Bold and disruptive, unpredictable and dangerous. I'm telling you right now, you're really really selling it to your audience that you're gonna do something at
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania by saying stuff like that. And obviously, again, we all know it's been reported for weeks. I'm sure he's going to announce WrestleMania next year is going to be in New Orleans. But by
Oh yeah.
saying things like that, again, you're almost selling it to your audience that you are going to be at Mania. And I'm telling you, if he doesn't come, if he comes out there and announces Mania for next year and dips, you're walking a very fine line of pissing a lot of people off, because why are you saying stuff like that? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're in the middle of this Mania build, and again, certain parts of it do feel lackluster to the point where people want Rock's inclusion. And if you don't include The Rock, but you tease including The Rock, I
Piss
don't
people off.
understand the good out of that. I
No.
don't.
I don't get that, man. Look what happened with that Raw on Netflix. A lot of people were expecting, oh, rock this, rock that. We're gonna get the final boss, and we just got happy, smiley corporate Rock. Fucking came in, hugged Cody Rhodes, fucked all that shit up, and left. And he did that, and that was, to me, that was okay. He's not gonna be at Mania. That was all kind of wrapping everything up on a nice little bow and saying goodbye. And now you got this where he's teasing something for Mania at the end of the day. He's teasing taking someone's spot from something, pissing fans off, pissing a guy on the roster off. That's what that gives me. And if that's not what happens, I'm gonna be just asking, okay, what the fuck was that for? Why are you getting this hype for something that's not gonna happen? It's a very risky thing they're doing here.
It is. So what makes this even more interesting, and what got a whole nother uproar going today. So per WrestleVotes, the plan for tonight's SmackDown have been altered after the surprise announcement of The Rock, as this was a last minute thing. So another thing that's interesting, The Rock put out a video yesterday or 2 days ago, I want to say I want to say it was Instagram, where he was talking about the 1 days and the day ones, and he was talking about how um there's been a lot of things that you put off and you say, I'm going to do it one day, versus saying, okay, today's day one where I'm going to do that thing, right? You know, typical Rock. Always got some quote to read for us. Um, good quote. I will give him
Yeah,
that. But
good. But Rock nonetheless.
so with that, the only direction that could steer me in is Roman. How
Yeah.
how long they've literally been talking about this Roman Reigns match since people found out Roman Reigns was his cousin. So I mean, 10, 11 years maybe since Roman Reigns, maybe probably since Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble and like broke out as a singles, people have been talking about this match. The only thing to me that would make sense being is the Roman match. That's the only
Mhm.
thing. And by the chamber happening here in a week and a day, here in 8 days, with the elimination chamber happening, it almost has to be Roman, because it can't be Cody. It can't.
Yeah.
There's no way it can be Cody, which is what's interesting about this is Naomi versus Liv Morgan, as well as Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga versus Braun Strowman, Cody Rhodes, and Damian fucking Priest.
Oh, dear God.
Show needs to go back to 2 hours. Though both of those have been scrapped from tonight's show. Now, my first question is, the show is 3 hours. Why the
Oh,
hell did these matches have, especially the Naomi and Liv Morgan match? I could see why they canceled the Cody match,
it's
but
just the one is a, like,
I, what do you have 3 hours for? If you're can't,
it's
I mean, how long is this guy going to be on screen for? An hour and a fucking half? I mean,
dude,
I don't understand.
3 hours, bruh. 3 hours. We always say every week this show is too long because they just fill it with random nonsense. Now you have the chance to not fill it with random nonsense, and you're just gonna take out good stuff to probably fill that stuff with like a Nakamura segment. Are you kidding me? If we see Nakamura tonight, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind.
So the
Cosigns?
the only reason I could see them canceling this Cody match is because there is Cody Rhodes in this match, and there is the other bloodline in this match
Hmm.
that I guess would somewhat make sense for, The Rock to somewhat interject himself with either one of those two. Again, I don't like it because, again, if he goes after Cody Rhodes, then that basically renders the Elimination Chamber useless. I mean, what is the Elimination Chamber for at that point? I mean, are they gonna interject themselves in a? Are they gonna interject themselves in the Rock and Cody match? Are they gonna interject themselves in the Jay and Gunther match? Are they? I mean, what the fuck are they gonna do? That doesn't make any. What is the Elimination Chamber for? What are they gonna make it for a shot at fucking Backlash? I mean,
Like,
what
I,
that doesn't make any sense to me, but that does scare me because they canceled the Cody match. Maybe that would lead me to believe
what he's gonna be in the segment.
that Cody Rhodes is going to have his hands full with other things on that night. Now, hopefully, they scrap plans for Damian Priest altogether tonight on SmackDown and make the show a better watch. But then if you look at, again, maybe he does something with this other bloodline. Maybe
Mhm.
I don't really know how much sense it would make, again, other than, like Rainmaker says, maybe him just endorsing Jacob Fatu a little bit. I could maybe see something like that. But I mean, I wouldn't do it personally, but I guess I do understand, I guess, why they would cancel this Cody 6-man match. But the Naomi and Liv Morgan match just makes no sense to me, dude. You have 3 hours. What else on your Friday night is happening
Yeah,
that to the point where you have to cancel just a random women's match?
like where are we gonna get a fucking Nakamura and Miz segment? Like, dude, you have The Rock and you have stuff you could easily keep on the show with 3 hours of television. I don't understand. I don't think The Rock will be on TV for that long.
I don't know, man. It is it I don't know. This is very
It's
interesting. This is very
it,
interesting. So,
Very interesting, because I just don't. There's so many avenues they could take with this. There were so many avenues they could have took in the first place. Rock got taken out. They went in the fucking scrambled ass direction, and now he might be back, and now it just fucks everything up even more. It's just they're taking the CD out, scratching it, putting it back in, trying to clean the scratches, but making more scratches and putting the CD. Dude, it's fucked.
I don't know, man. It is I don't know. It is good. It is going to be very interesting, bro. This is going to be a very interesting night. I am Very interested, like I said, just to see where they're going to go with all this and whatnot, man. But the thing that makes all this so confusing, and I'm coming back to Belle now because I know this was the second part of her paragraph she left us, but the whole thing that makes this so confusing was just 2 days ago we got this report from Deadline that says Dwayne The Rock Johnson will star alongside Leonardo DiCaprio and Emily Blunt in a Martin Scorsese.
Scorsese.
Okay,
Mm.
I was gonna. Okay, Martin Scorsese directed crime drama set in the 1960s and 70s Hawaii. Get this. Johnson plays a ruthless Hawaiian crime boss. Where
He's a villain.
yeah, well, we know who's going over in that movie. Where the war for cultural survival takes place. Okay, first thing before we get into this, that actually sounds really fucking good.
Oh, that's gonna be insane. That's like real acting. That's not Rock in a Jungle movie. That's fucking it's a real ass movie, which is crazy for The Rock.
uh,
Rock's
crime
been moving, man.
crime drama. So I will say the Smashing Machine movie
That looks
he
really
just
good.
filmed. It actually looks really fucking good, man. It must have I don't know, man. It must have been that Versace vest, bro.
It changes, man. He's fucking acting like Batista now. He's actually in good movies, man. It's just going crazy. And I love the Rock's comedy movies, I do. But this is like a real ass movie. So this is some Oscar shit. And the fact that he's doing this, I we saw that news, and I saw that news. I was like, okay, yeah, he ain't gonna be a Mania. 2 days later, this shit drops, dude. I have no clue at this point.
As soon as I seen he got another movie, I was like, oh, um, all right. Well, I guess that basically seals the deal for WrestleMania. But see, what's very interesting too about WrestleMania, and it's something to keep your eye on. A lot of people, are I guess have maybe forgotten it, or it has maybe been lost in all the noise. Is whatever happened to him reshooting the live action Moana?
Yeah.
What is that still on? Did they opt to take a break, or did they opt to want to film after WrestleMania? Um, I don't know. I don't know, man. But I'll say, first and foremost, again, that movie actually sounds really good. Just off the tiny description about the crime drama set in 70s Hawaii, that sounds pretty cool. But again, this is something that kind of threw me off because again, right as I seen this, I was like, oh, okay, well, we're not getting him. If we do get Rock, it's obviously going to be WrestleMania 42. And now all this is happening, so it's just very interesting, man. It's very interesting, and then it also, I mean, it would go to serve the reports of when Dave Meltzer reported that The Rock wasn't going to be at Mania, it was reported that The Rock was pissed off about that. And a lot of people speculated that The Rock would do the show anyway to spite the people that, put the report out because he wanted to prove them wrong. That could
I
very well
mean,
be a case too, man. What were you saying?
I could, no, I could definitely see going off what you just said. I could definitely see him originally, being busy but want to do Mania. The reports come in that he's not doing Mania, and he's like, okay, fuck you guys, I'm doing Mania. I'm gonna make it work. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe you found a way to make it work, and maybe that's what they're setting up here. We don't know, but maybe I'm starting to get that vibe. I don't know, dude. I don't fucking know.
It's I don't know. It is a very interesting situation. It is a very interesting situation, but creatively speaking, I'll just have to say, man, if The Rock is at this year's WrestleMania, there's absolutely no way this can be Cody Rhodes. And if it is Cody
No,
Rhodes, you have rendered that Elimination Chamber completely useless. Um,
literally.
you have rendered that chamber completely useless. It
Mm.
has to be Roman Reigns. And again, going off his Instagram video of, holding things off and saying, I'm going to do it one day. that's got to mean the Roman match, because that has been teased literally forever. But by the time, I'll probably make a short out of this. By the time this comes out, I mean, we'll know what has happened, and we'll obviously talk about it on Monday. So drop your comments below and let us know what you guys think is going to happen, or let us know what you guys thought about what happened. And it's going to be very interesting to see, man. But like I said, this almost has to be Roman Reigns. There's no way it can be Cody Rhodes. And I see a lot of people saying, well, if you do Roman, what are they going to do with Rollins? What?
CM Punk, the better,
Yeah.
to be honest, that's a better look for Mania for me. Instead of the triple threat, which really wasn't working for me, to be honest, I think it's better. You do Punk and Seth, Rock and Roman. Boom.
Yeah.
Nice, much cleaner situation.
I'm sorry, man. You know, I'm again. I might be sitting on a just a 2-person paddle boat with you, bro. But I love all three guys, and I know the match would have been great, but
Yeah.
I was not feeling Punk, Roman, and
No.
Rollins. It just I I don't
No.
know. I just think a more focused one-on-one story is the better option. So if The Rock is coming in, now is your time, because
Mm-hmm.
Roman, I guess, isn't necessarily in the ballpark of of acknowledging everybody that has attacked him. I mean, Kevin Owens attacked him on that Monday Night Raw on Netflix. He never said anything about it. So if you did want to just sweep things under the rug and just get back to Rollins at a certain point to deal with The Rock, but with that, I really wish The Rock would have done something on that Raw on Netflix, because do you know how epic of a moment that would have been if he put that
Oh,
Ulafala around his neck, Roman celebrates, and then he just fucking demolishes him and takes the necklace back?
oh.
That would have been pretty
And then,
sick, bro.
and then with Roman off TV now, him returning with the necklace tonight would have been the way to bring back Roman. But you could have had a
Yeah.
perfect set. But to be honest with that, with the Raw on Netflix, I think at that time he was out for Mania,
Oh,
and that was
that's
them.
exactly why that happened.
Yep, and then now he's back in, so now it's just they kind of have to scramble.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is The Rock with his movie schedule. That shit changes on a dime. But I feel like, dude, it's so 50-50. Tonight we'll know, or at least we fucking better know, if he's gonna be in for Mania or not. And I think he might be in at this point, but I'm not too sure, dude.
Yes. I mean, this is Dwayne's fuck it February again. Um I mean, God, bro.
Look at
Every
mm,
February he just said fuck it, and I'm just gonna do Mania. So yes, I think we're gonna start calling this fuck it February for Mr. Dwayne Johnson. But yeah, I mean, obviously I love hearing what you guys think, man. And it's gotta be Roman Reigns. It has to
God.
be Roman Reigns. At this point, the ship has sailed on Cody Rhodes, and obviously we all know The Rock said when he comes back, whether you're champion or not, I'm coming for you. Obviously, like Sir K said, obviously we have to make do with what we got. We have to scramble. And I
Hmm.
think you're scrambling. The best option right now is Roman Reigns. It's Roman Reigns. It really is, because um we all know they're not going to do the McIntyre match, which obviously leaves
No.
Roman Reigns in this triple threat. And honestly, I think it might just be better off with Punk and Rollins. And I think that and I think that it would just better serve it would better serve to, if The Rock is there, to just take Roman out of that match, because that match doesn't need Roman. It doesn't. The story is with Punk and Seth, and I honestly think one of the only reasons WWE wanted to get Roman in there was to build off of that Survivor Series hype that they had.
Yeah.
With the teasing. But honestly, it can wait. Punk and Roman can honestly wait, man. So it's going to be interesting, and I am interested for tonight, which I will say again. I'm not one of these people that thinks this Mania build has sucked. I don't think
No.
it's completely sucked. I think it's been pretty lackluster, but I was waiting. I was waiting to refrain my judgment until Elimination Chamber. But But um, I will say, if I could thank the final boss for anything, it is making it is making well, a, some nice news headlines, and b,
Always.
making just Mania season more intriguing, because again, I think WWE was going and like I said, not that I wasn't excited, but they were just going a lot of routes that just really questioned my mind, like
It
what
it
the
really
hell.
felt like they didn't know what they were doing for WrestleMania, and that can feel bad. It gets to a point where it's okay to have the fans not know what you're doing for Mania because that's a lot of times that can be the point.
Yeah.
But to me, it felt like they also didn't know what the fuck they were doing for WrestleMania, and they were just fuck it, let's do this. And I feel like The Rock can line things up a little better.
Hopefully. But Triple
I
H,
hope so.
bro, if you ever scramble like this because of the Rock's absence again, please, for the love of God, what are we doing?
Call us. We could fix it for you. We got you for Mania. Call us.
I don't
Mania.
know, man. A lot of people, we're just the podcasters, man.
We are just podcasters. We're clickbaiters. We're this.
That's
We're
right.
that. We're wrestling fans. This and
Neck
that. But
beards,
neck
apparently,
beards, even though I have no beard. Uh,
and I can see my neck. I'm pretty sure this is my neck. Um,
but okay. But it, Trips, if you're ever struggling again, hit us up. We got you. Because boy, oh boy, can I just feel the scramble from the TV.
definitely, definitely, man. But so we just we just talked about how, because of The Rock's inclusion, WWE cut a Naomi versus Liv Morgan match from this week's or tonight's SmackDown. And with that, according to Fightful Select, there is growing frustrations in the WWE Women's Division over their booking. They go on to say, I have spoken with plenty of women in WWE who are frustrated about the booking of the women. I know there have been some Mania pitches that have been rejected because people are like, token tag matches aren't something they want to do. They want they want to put they want to put on more of an even plane in the women's division. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. These women have every right
Oh
to
yeah.
be upset. You okay? First of all, what pitches are being rejected to the point where WWE is combating that with a token tag team match? What that means is WWE is planning on doing probably a four-way tag team match
Mhm.
for the the women's tag team championships, and they're just gonna throw all the
All the women.
women you could possibly, Nia and Candice, and again, they're just gonna throw every woman on the planet in that match.
Mhm.
So I I completely understand. I completely understand why they would be upset. I mean, again, Naomi and Liv Morgan's match just obviously got cut for no reason, which I'm sure that didn't help. But if we're talking just Mania, there's been almost no importance on. Okay, first of all, I don't even know who the women's tag team champions are right now.
I think
But
they're still up. Bianca and Naomi.
yes, it is Bianca and Naomi. Um, so there's that. Then you're looking at the women's mid card champions, which have just failed to do anything of any kind of substance. We've heard for the longest time it's going to be Becky and Lyra. There's been no teasing. And again, it's not like they don't have to go ahead and rush Becky Lynch out on my television. At least make Lyra a focal point. So by the
Mhm.
time Becky comes back, it can feel like she's going after a pretty sought after championship, in my opinion. Then you look at
Oh,
this women's elimination chamber. A lot of people think it's going to be Bianca Belair. Unfortunately, Bianca Belair hasn't really been built up much, and it's almost gonna feel kind of, obviously it's a big match, so it's obviously gonna draw and whatnot. But it is sort of out of nowhere for WWE to do, being that they've presented Bianca Belair to us as a tag team wrestler for the last year, and they're throwing her back in the, women's division, and it just she hasn't been built up much recently as a singles competitor. Now obviously we know her history, and we know she's a great singles competitor in the ring, but you know the perception as of the past year is that she's been, in her tag team with her buddies, and she's being put in a match with Rhea Ripley. They um as far as I'm concerned, the whole time they've been on TV together, it's been as friends. So
Hmm.
there's, as for as great as it's going to be, I wish there was a little bit of teasing of maybe like these two having a beef, or at least something. And it just seems very thrown together to me, man. I mean, again, it's going to be a great match, and I hope maybe coming out of it we get a Bianca Belair heel turn. I'll tell you what I don't want to see is Jade Cargill cost Bianca that match, because I just really think you will have a generational heel and a generational babyface in Rhea Ripley as the babyface and Bianca Belair as the heel. But again, it just feels very thrown together to me. And then you look at the SmackDown side of things. Of course, it's frustrating because Charlotte Flair is back and she's doing Charlotte Flair stuff,
Hmm.
taking spots that nobody wants to see her in, and all this other stuff. And it again is a very predictable, just another very predictable outcome, and just something that WWE needs to get out of the habit of the just Charlotte Flair always needs to be front and center with a championship. Um, it's been a little rocky. It's a little rocky to say the least, but it's been a little rocky, and I completely understand all their frustration, man. I mean, again, you look up and down that card, and it a lot of the shit could be better, a lot better.
Oh, 100%, man. I definitely understand their frustrations. I would be very frustrated too. What did we always say about those women's tag titles, dude? They're just the discount. They used to be the discount women's mid-card titles where, oh, we don't got none for you. Throw in tag team, have them go for the women's tag team titles, dude. No one likes that. And from this report, a lot of the women don't even like that. I'm sure a lot of people would rather just go have a program with Lyra or Chelsea Green in an actual singles mid card spot. People want that. That's why you have those titles. Because people are you can't create a title of us and you essentially create a new category for the women to be in, and then you just don't use it the way it's supposed to be used. It's just gonna leave people annoyed. And with the women's tag team titles, you got women probably pitching great singles stories, matches, this and that, and they're just well we could put this and this together and have you do a tag match with a bunch of other people. No one wants that. Nobody wants that. And it is frustrating because you're really not showcased in the way you want to be showcased. You have Charlotte on TV, that's not really that compelling. You have Trish Stratus back for some reason doing stuff
Oh
that,
yeah, I
at
forgot
the end of
about
the
that.
day, I would rather much see a Lyra and a Chelsea Green and a Piper Niven and a Candice LeRae on my TV over a Trish Stratus. Um, there's just so many things I would much rather see, and I think the women would also much rather see in their own division. It's a lack of care, but that care also extends to some of the men's divisions. The tag team division, I would feel the same way. The men's mid card, I would feel the same way. You had Braun Breaker backstage for 2 months straight on Raw. You had Andrade and Carmelo, I always do it. My bad. I always do it to him. But you had those two run that SmackDown mid card division for weeks, and then you just go and give a title to Nakamura, have him do nothing, and then tote the Miz out there. It's like so many things where if you're not in the men's main event division, you're just not really showcased much at all. and it's really bad for the women. It's really bad for the tag team, and it's getting really rocky for the men's mid card, dude. I think they could do much better with refocusing on the women, on tag teams, on women's tag teams. You got those titles. It shouldn't just be throw people into it. If you have them, properly use them. You have women's mid card titles that you could easily do great storylines with that you're not. Even non-title women's matches on a show like Mania you could do. You had the perfect setup this year that you could have done Jade and Bianca. At this point, I don't care who's the heel and who's the face. I have my preferences, but you could even do that, and I don't even think they're going to do that this year. And it's one of those things where you have so many opportunities to do this and that. Definitely understand the frustrations, and I would be frustrated too.
Yeah, 1,000%, man, 1,000%. And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't
Oh
know.
no,
It is
God,
uh
God damn it!
um
It was-
and you know, to go off your point, you know, with the men's mid card divisions too, it's like I felt like that was one of the things Triple H almost mastered upon his
yeah.
arrival on the main roster was Triple H, you know, takes control, head of creative. All of a sudden, you're seeing Gunther be featured as one of the most prominent champions as the Intercontinental Champion. And then you look at the US title, and the US title was doing okay, not as good as the IC title, but it was doing a lot better. They had it on Rollins, they had it on Bobby Lashley in the beginning of Austin Theory's reign before it completely staled out on us. It was really good. It was really good stuff. And then, like I said, when Theory's reign went on, it kind of dipped a little bit. They gave it to, you know, Logan Paul. That was something. Then you gave it to LA Knight. And it seemed like they were going in a great direction because you had LA Knight as a champion, but you had the surrounding acts, the surrounding pieces of the puzzle moving. You know what I mean? You had Andrade and Mello abs- absolutely just tearing it up on SmackDown and helping out that mid card division so much, and you don't reward either of those guys, and you take the fucking belt off LA Knight for washed Amora? Are you kidding me? And you look at your SmackDown mid card division now, and all it consists of is Andrade not being used, Carmelo's rather treated as a joke that gets squashed, and Nakamura is lurking in the shadows for somebody to fight him. I mean, are you fucking serious? Really? What the fuck are we doing here? How did we not give the US title to Andrade or Carmelo Hayes? That is my
Literally,
that is my question, bro. How the
you
fuck did we not give it to either of those guys?
you give it to Nakamura and then tote the Miz out there to put them all on a program. Like, dude, what are you doing here? I don't understand. It makes no sense.
You just gained a generational mid Carter on SmackDown in Damian fucking Priest, and you have the Miz out there. You have the Miz
And
out there, and Andrade and Carmelo are just have been thrown to the wolves. What did they do wrong? What?
yeah,
Nothing.
the, nothing. They were great. People loved them. I thought you used to. I thought that man used to love Andrade.
Yeah.
Where's the love now?
Your best bet is to put Andrade with Zelina Vega and have him go after the U.S. title and build him back up and have him go after the U.S. title, because how you did that man that dirty after that 7 game series, I I don't know. I don't fucking know, man. But yeah, it's really mind boggling to me, man. Where the direction we went with these mid card championships, because again, the one title the one title on SmackDown, again, obviously we just mentioned you fucked over 2 guys that could have been U.S. champion for the next 6 months between both of them. Um, and then on Monday Night Raw, it's uh, uh, it's on a it's on a guy like Braun Breaker, who you said or who was reported to have huge plans on Netflix, right? They were gonna build Raw on Netflix around Breaker, and you have this guy backstage complaining to Adam Pearce, when are you gonna have any plans for the IC title? If we go back to the story from the summer, Adam Pearce didn't have any plans for Braun Breaker. So what was Braun Breaker doing every week? He was beating the fuck out of everybody.
He was making himself plans. He was putting himself in the spotlight.
Yes.
That, like, dude, what?
So why aren't you doing that here?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. And again, it's something Triple H used to do so good with,
Hmm.
especially with that IC title. He was so good with it. And again, here we are now, and two, with the women, Lyra's getting pinned. Chelsea Green is doing I don't fucking even know what. Again, Lyra's getting pinned. She's rather not featured. I mean, what is going on, bro? I don't understand it, man. But going back to the original story of the women being frustrated, again, I completely understand. Rhea Ripley should have, or Bianca Belair should have been taken out of a tag team and built somewhat, built, just not built, but just sort of built, I guess, just reestablish her as, a top, a top female in the division. Have her just, um, I guess, just again, just reestablish herself as one of the top female wrestlers that this company has, and put her against Rhea Ripley. But again, we're in a state right now where Jade Cargill still hasn't came back, so that is a loose end that needs to be tied up. And on top of all that, she's still a tag team champion, and you've almost done little to no teasing behind
Mhm.
Bianca and Rhea Ripley match, which makes me think the only way this could possibly go is Liv Morgan winning that chamber, and then they do a triple threat at WrestleMania with Io, Liv, and Rhea. Because if you remember, bro, the original plan was to do Liv versus Rhea. They were going to drag it out to WrestleMania. I think
It
they
was.
realized that ran stale, but what they did find in all of that was people wanted to see Io versus Rhea. Company wanted
Mhm.
Liv and Rhea, fans wanted Io and Rhea. So they're gonna. I honestly, yeah, I think obviously, Bianca, if you're talking about a matchup, Bianca would be the better matchup, but I think what they're gonna ultimately end up going with is Io, Liv, and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. I think that's what they'll go with.
It's the Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte situation. Everybody wants Becky and Ronda. The company wanted Charlotte and Ronda. What's the compromise? We just make it a triple threat. And I
Yes.
think that's exactly what we're about to get at Mania in this situation.
I don't know. I don't know why the fuck they didn't just do, you know, Io and Rhea, being that,
It's
I don't know, maybe
more.
let me guess. Io's never won a Royal Rumble before. Maybe you could have, gave her that accolade. That would have been pretty nice, but
No,
just give it
just
to
gotta give it
Charlotte.
to Charlotte. No ways, just gotta give it to Charlotte.
So the women are frustrated. They're upset in WWE, and I completely understand. I'm surprised
Oh,
we haven't heard this story about the tag teams.
oh,
Um,
dude, if I was a tag team, I'd be talking on dirt cheese, dude. My shit is fucked. I ain't booked at all, ever. Literally, we said it a few weeks ago, and I think it still reigns true. Both tag team titles are not going to be defended at Mania. At the most, one of them will be, which is just crazy work to me.
it is. It is.
Hmm.
And the funniest part, too, I could see the War Raiders being left off, which is funny because
And
to me,
more,
the War Raiders are doing the better work right now.
yeah. I would put the War Raiders on the pay-per-view, and then I would leave the other. If you had to do one, I would put the War Raiders, but they got the whole story with the Street Profits.
And it's a
They love
multiple
the Street
team
Profits.
situation.
Yep, it's gonna be that one that makes it on Mania, and War Raiders are probably just gonna be left off, dude. Which is crazy work to me.
So, speaking of WrestleMania, man, we kind of actually, I guess, yeah, we pretty much predicted this last week. But WrestleMania, the Wrestling Observer reports that as of now, many top stars are already booked for WrestleMania 41, and there is speculated to be around 13 to 14 matches across the two nights. So, like we said, about 7 matches a night. So maybe they could make place for the War Raiders, but unfortunately, that will have to come at the cost of other singles matches that that I think people want to see.
I think
Because
so.
again, I know a lot of people want to see Roxanne versus Bailey. Me, I think it would be a great match. What business does that have on WrestleMania?
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but Roxanne just got called up, and you know, you could absolutely build her up. She's going to be a star in the women's division, but right now, what
Just
are
not
you
that
going to
level.
do? What are you what are you going to do for Roxanne in 2 months that's going to get her to a point where people say, "Holy shit, we need Roxanne versus Bailey in a one-on-one match at WrestleMania."
Like,
I could see Roxanne winning Money in the Bank. I could see
yeah,
Roxanne winning Queen of the Ring, but just a singles match. I mean, if you really have space, you could do it. But I mean, that's just I don't know. I know they want it, but I don't know.
man.
That doesn't really scream WrestleMania to me. I mean, Roxanne just got called up. What story are you gonna tell that is gonna warrant a one-on-one WrestleMania match right now for those two?
I can tell you.
Yeah. So, so that is true. That is true too. If The Rock is at WrestleMania, everything could be blown up, meaning that this could go down to 12 matches very quickly because we all know The Rock has to get his 40-minute classic in WrestleMania where it'll probably be a no DQ match so he can have his heel ups around. He could have his
Yeah.
strategically placed water bottles,
Oh,
just so happening to be wherever his heart desires. Oh, there it is. Oh God, how
yeah.
convenient. Here's a water
Oh,
bottle.
you chug this down. 45-minute match. 15 of it is spent chugging down water bottles.
Fucking Rock. Um,
That man exploded.
so yes, basically what we predicted, and I could see something along the lines of 13 to 14 matches. So yeah.
No, I could definitely see that.
Oh,
I think that's true.
tribal combat. Yes, because
Mhm.
then The Rock, he has every opportunity to walk around the crowd and strategically find his water bottles.
There's a tribal water.
The final water for the final boss.
Oh, I can see them putting in like fucking Samoan jugs around the fucking
Oh my
arena to
god.
make it look like it fit the
This-
match and shit.
yep. Keeping
God
on
damn.
the keeping up with the tradition of WrestleMania. According to WrestleVotes on the Backstage Pass, AJ Styles versus Finn Balor has been considered as a first time ever at WrestleMania match for WrestleMania 41.
I mean, if Finn Balor was, had momentum, this might have something to it. I mean, it's a match people want to see in WWE. It is, but I don't want to see this Finn Balor in it. Personally, I would much rather see AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker at this point 10 times.
Hmm. So, with Finn the current way he is, and no, I don't want to see AJ Styles join the Judgment Day and take his place. Even though AJ says Judgment Day hilarious, so it would be very funny to hear him in that group. Judgment Day. So, again, obviously, people saying, are you hearing people wanting Aleister Black to take the place of Finn Balor in the Judgment Day?
Oh,
I mean,
I
dude,
think don't do that to him. What the
no,
fuck?
please. What business does Aleister Black have in a fucking group with Carlito? I mean, how
No,
random is that?
if that man is not on SmackDown, I'm gonna be pissed. Because what the fuck?
Yes, and hopefully, again, we've already heard at least from the dirt sheets that they view him as a singles act. So,
Oh,
um,
please.
yeah,
God,
I mean Zelina Vega's. That's
that's
people
yeah,
wanting.
sure.
P.S. People wanting that is absolutely criminal. But anyways,
No, please go.
I don't see AJ Styles joining the Judgment Day. What this could do. What this could do. After their match at WrestleMania, so let me start off by saying this could work. This could work because obviously, is Finn Balor in the dumps? Yes. Does Finn Balor need a lot of help in terms of creative? Yes. This could be what they're looking for because
Mm,
obviously we all know that this is going to be a banger match. We've seen it before.
it would be,
Um,
obviously.
AJ Styles, they could go one of two directions with this. AJ Styles could beat Finn. Either way, AJ Styles beats Finn Balor. Finn loses, gets kicked out of the Judgment Day, and he, I guess, sort of maybe refines himself by another OG in his career that is cut from the same cloth or the same club as he is. And he goes off, gets drafted to the other brand in the Judgment Day, and Finn Balor refines himself, and we maybe sort of see some, again, maybe some sort of OG Bullet Club, obviously without saying Bullet Club, version of Finn Balor.
You could.
And AJ Styles, I guess, maybe helps him get back to that point. I could see that. The other thing you could do with this is AJ beats Finn. Sorry, either way, Finn loses.
At, at the end of the day, with Finn's current momentum, he cannot beat AJ Styles. It won't work. I'm sorry.
And and and
AJ has to beat him.
he's taken so many losses. I think maybe AJ helping him refine himself is the only way you can do about this whole thing.
Yeah.
The other direction is AJ beats him. He gets kicked out of the Judgment Day, and you do a tag team with AJ Styles and Finn Balor for a little bit, and maybe do something along those lines. Being that, again, they're both Bullet Club guys, and you can have AJ sort of hands-on help Finn Balor kind of find himself. So either way, you're helping Finn Balor find himself, and you are, within one way or another, reverting him back to the Prince. Basically,
Hmm.
that's what I'm getting at, whether it's AJ beats him and he goes off, he finds himself on his own, or AJ helps find himself. So it's AJ helps Finn Balor find himself either hands-on or hands-off, whichever you prefer. This could work. This could work. Obviously, at first glance, who the hell wants to see that? But as I put thought into it, it could work if you did want to push Finn Balor. But this only will work if you want to push Finn Balor. I will say, if you have Finn the way he is now, go in there, win or lose against AJ Styles, and then just continue to be the Finn he is now, this is an absolutely shit idea.
Mm-hmm. 100%, dude. I like the overall idea, but they just treated Finn so just fucking horribly up to now. I think the only way you could do this match is like you said, in Finn Balor in a losing fashion at the end of the day, which I mean again, but at this point, I mean this Finn
It's
Balor
nothing new.
cannot beat this AJ exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then it's a change in Finn Balor, but. I don't even know if I would do this match, to be honest, at least not right now. I still like the idea of the Braun Breaker and AJ Styles match a lot more. And then Finn, at this point, I would just kick him out the Judgment Day before Mania, have him be off Mania, have him, miss Mania, and redefine himself and be a different Finn Balor because there's just not many ways you could do Finn Balor at this point without just taking him off TV for some period of time and returning him. That's the best way to heal all this.
It is. It is. And it is again, like I said, man, at first glance, I get it. It sounds absolutely horrible. And again, if they continue things how they are, if they continue things how they are and continue things after that match the way they are, that's a horrible idea. But again, if you did want to redefine Balor, that could be a way to do it, being that AJ again is cut from the same cloth as Finn, and they have the same New Japan roots and all that kind of stuff. So um with that, in terms of the AJ and Braun match, I honestly don't see that going to Mania. I think that might end up on Chamber. That's kind of
I
what I'm
wouldn't be
thinking.
shocked.
That's kind of what I'm thinking because I think that I think that I feel at Mania they're gonna want to do Penta and Braun.
I could see that. That
I
would be really good.
yeah, just because I know Penta, I know the name of Rey Mysterio's been tossed around there a little bit, and that could be another match for Penta to do. But
I feel like that might be too on the nose. Like, oh my God, Penta and Rey Mysterio. I feel like you could do better for Penta.
yeah, and they really love him, so I would not be surprised if he goes for the IC championship. Or I could also see them doing some sort of multi-man match where it's
I could
AJ
see
in
that.
there and it's Finn
AJ.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
Penta and it's Braun and it's Ray
Right.
and all those kind of guys. So I
I
could
could.
yeah, I could definitely see something like that, but it is interesting, and like I said, the AJ and Finn story, first glance, I completely understand why everybody's like, who the fuck wants to see that? But it could
It
work.
could help. Mm-hmm.
It could work if handled correctly. It could work. So, more WrestleMania plans. Jumping over to SmackDown. According to Russell Votes on the Backstage Pass, there are plans for Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa at WrestleMania 41. According to a source, plans for Fatu versus Sikoa were shaped shortly after the decision was made to do Sikoa versus Reigns on the Raw on Netflix premiere instead of WrestleMania. Okay, so with that, we got a conflicting report by The Observer. This is The Observer, so take this with a grain of salt. But The Observer reports Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa is reportedly not booked right now for WrestleMania, with one of them currently being factored into other plans.
Hmm. Hmm. Could there be Rock involved? But the thing is, at the end of the day, when this all last year, when the new bloodline started, we thought it was gonna be The Rock and shit. But at this point, this new bloodline has nothing to do with The Rock. So to me, it really doesn't make sense to involve The Rock in the new bloodline stuff, at least right now.
You know,
So
I can
I don't
say
know.
um, the whole new bloodline stuff was over as soon as Tribal Combat. You killed that story instantly when The Rock
Mhm.
came out looked at Solo like he was a piece of trash and just kept walking. Didn't even look at him. Solo was
Didn't
sitting there, didn't even breathe in the man's direction. Just
nope.
walk past him like, oh, like literally like he wasn't even laying there, dead
Yeah.
right there.
Family member that just lost the fucking tribal combat to be tribal chief, just walk right past him, didn't give a single shit about that story, dude. That ultimate fail with that, man, and just The Rock has nothing to do with the new bloodline, so I they could involve him, but to me that really wouldn't make sense, and I still see Jacob and Solo being the match at Mania, as that's kind of what they've been building on television, you know what I mean?
Yes, that is with one of these guys being booked into other booking plans. There's, I honestly just I don't believe that. And again,
No.
maybe something tonight could change it, but I just truly do not see what else they could be talking about here. I mean, what what other booking plans is Solo Sikoa pointed in or Jacob Fatu? I mean, I guess they're sort of feuding with Cody Rhodes, but I don't. I'd be willing to take a guess and say that Solo Sikoa is not facing Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, nor is Jacob Fatu.
No,
Um,
exactly.
Not gonna lie to you guys, man. I don't believe this whatsoever. Jacob and Solo is absolutely the direction this is headed in.
100%, 100%, man. And Hunter asked to Solo lose that match. I think so. I think it's also like we were mentioning with Finn, kind of a Finn Balor situation for Solo. Not in terms of momentum. He's not that bad. No, not that bad. But I think in terms of he loses and then Solo will go find himself, which I think he'll find himself to be Solo after all this, man. So I think that's kind of
Yeah.
what it's building up to. And I think Solo does lose unless Solo wins and they want to continue this feud for a pay-per-view two or more, but personally, I wouldn't. I think the one match is enough, and I think that's something you continue down the line with a different Solo, and I think that's the way to go.
Yes. Yeah, I could. Yeah, yeah. Solo absolutely loses that match. No question.
100%.
No
Mm-hmm.
question. So, I mean, if you do a feud across a couple pay-per-views, maybe Solo does get, some sort of cheap victory in there, just so we're not completely burying the guy. But in terms of at WrestleMania, yeah, Solo loses that, no question. Rainmaker says, going back to Braun Breaker, he says he thinks they'll go back to Sheamus. I forgot to mention Sheamus. Sheamus is another sleeper name I could absolutely see. I think it's about time he wins that IC championship.
I
It's
think so.
about fucking time.
I think so.
But yeah, I mean, uh, good lord. Um,
Get,
so
uh,
yeah,
go ahead.
I think it's about time Sheamus wins that IC title. So Sheamus and Breaker could be a direction they go, but they also are no strangers to, for some reason, just not putting that IC title on Sheamus.
No, they have some weird thing they rather do instead of that, so I wouldn't be
Sheamus
shocked
and
if he doesn't get it.
I'm starting to think that Sheamus and Chad Gable are blackballed from Singles Gold.
It really does fucking seem like it. Is that they were literally some of the best parts about Raw for a period of time, and neither of them got the. What is with the mid? It's a Triple H thing, I guess. You're in the mid card division. You're probably the best part about that division for a time, and then you just never scratch the mid card title. Happened on SmackDown. Happened on Raw. I don't understand that philosophy.
For the love of God, that man Sheamus needs his flowers, bro. This man has literally been putting on bangers since I was
Mm, fuck.
8 years
When
old.
did I was gonna say, like, fuck.
Literally 8 or 9 years old I was, bro. This guy has shown up and shown out for years, bro. Fucking years. Please give this guy the Intercontinental Championship. But so this is again, the reporting of Solo and Jacob at WrestleMania, but then the reporting of the Observer trying to say that it's not going to happen because one of them is factored into other plans. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that for a second, man. I mean, what other plans would Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa have that wouldn't amount to them fighting each other?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's literally what this whole thing is building to.
So, more news surrounding WrestleMania, or surrounding WrestleMania weekend, to be specific. According to WrestleVotes on the Backstage Pass, there has been some internal chatter that the WWE Hall of Fame, excuse me, that the WWE Hall of Fame may not take place immediately following SmackDown this year. With SmackDown now being 3 hours, some within WWE feel that the showcase of the Hall of Fame may be lost on the audience after a 3-hour show.
No fucking way.
Yeah, you don't say.
Especially SmackDown.
Oh,
Fuck.
oh Lord. Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, you are not lying. You are not lying, bro. Yeah, so I think this is the right call. I think this is the right call. Doing the Hall of Fame, I always liked the aesthetic of the Hall of Fame better when it was on a stage and,
Mm.
you know,
It's an
it
actual
it was
ceremony.
yes, it felt like a ceremony. I've never really been a fan of how they do it. I've never really been a fan of how they do it, in the ring. I always like the look of maybe like an amphitheater or a theater type venue,
Exactly.
or like again like an auditorium type venue, something like that. I always like the just look of that more because the look in the ring, with all the ropes and all the poor talent, doesn't even have much place to sit. They're fucking crowded in the entrance ramps on steel chairs. Meanwhile, you're just in front of the regular ass audience. I would much rather them do it on a different day, a different specific day where they're in again like an auditorium type setting. Maybe one thing that they could do is, I know they do takeover Saturday morning, maybe
Hmm.
Sunday morning,
Yeah. I
maybe,
I would think that would work.
because
There you
other than that, you're looking at like the Thursday before
yeah, I was gonna
WrestleMania
say
weekend.
I would say that Thursday or even that Wednesday. I mean, it'll probably get more fucking views than Dynamite,
Yeah,
so
probably.
you might have something there. But like Thursday, maybe I think is always a good day. I think you have days you could just set it by itself, man. But I really hope they do just make it its own ceremony, like an actual ceremony, like it should be. You have, all the wrestlers there, sitting there in their suits and the little tables. I think that would be a much better look.
Definitely. And speaking of that, according to Fightful, under WWE's current regime, Demolition, Axe, and Smash have been brought up as potential 2025 Hall of Fame inductees, but no word on if it has been nailed down. Also, no word if Crush was considered as a part of the group for the potential Hall of Fame induction.
Mm, good for them.
Yes, this is very good for Demolition. I know they, under the Vince regime, they were kind of blackballed there for a minute because of some legal disputes in the early 2000s or whatever. Um, but no, this is a team that's very popular, and a lot of people that watched wrestling during this time period love Demolition.
Mhm.
So I hope they get their flowers, man, and I'm excited for them. So,
Yeah, definitely, man. I hope they get it, and good for them if they get it.
well, speaking of another Hall of Famer. Is he a Hall of Famer? Yeah, right?
I think, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. Goldberg.
Yay.
Goldberg stated via the CarCast show his last match will take place sometime this summer.
Dude,
Can we please
if
just get
if
it over with?
if that's gonna be Gunther's SummerSlam post losing the fucking title SummerSlam match is gonna
Yikes.
be fucking Goldberg. Poor Gunther. What the fuck did he do to deserve any of this? Good lord.
I don't know who he pissed off, bro. They
I'm
didn't let him.
telling you.
They didn't let this man feud with any main eventers during his world
Nope.
title reign, and and he's gonna get fed to Goldberg, which I hope Goldberg will at least do the Liberty. I don't trust him at all, but
I don't.
I would hope he does the Liberty in his last match ever to put somebody over.
They better.
I don't
I'm Gunther.
trust
I'm not
him,
doing the business
but
for myself.
I will say though the promo battles leading up to that match are going to be just absolutely hilarious. Though I already know Gunther is going to slaughter that man.
Oh, he is. It's gonna be beautiful.
So according to PW Insider, Road Dogg Brian James has been named the new co-lead writer for SmackDown. James will be working alongside John Swikata in head creative for the brand. I would like to know what the fuck John Swikata is doing
I
with
would really
the
like to know.
SmackDown mid-card division. What did you do
SmackDown any
to Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, sir? But
exactly. Please do answer.
as for Road Dogg becoming the new co-lead writer, so obviously we all remember Road Dogg running that portion of SmackDown from 2017 to, I think it was 2019. But I'm obviously going to give Road Dogg a chance because he was involved with that SmackDown, but he also had a hand in writing some of the 2016 SmackDown. And
Hmm.
AJ, somebody who worked on SmackDown during that time period, did put out a tweet, and Styles said something along the lines of like, give him a chance because a lot of his ideas were taken and moved around to the point where it wasn't even his idea anymore. And so I'm obviously going to give him a shot. And obviously, like I said, we all remember that original, 2017 through 2019 era of SmackDown were fucking blue.
Oh, so bad.
But again, he Road Dogg was also on the team in 2016, man. So, let's see what they can cook up, man. Let's see what they can cook up, and hopefully, they can make SmackDown more of a likable show. But I mean, they still have the 3 hour problem, so it's obviously going to be very interesting. It's obviously going to be
Mm.
very interesting to see what they can do and if they can make that work at 3 hours, because we're already off to a very rough start and it is a very rough watch. And we're only a month and a half in, so um, so I mean, I'm interested to see what they could do, man. But I mean, a lot of the problem is the creative, but it is the 3 hour timestamp as well, man. That is very hard to write for, man, and evidently it is not an easy thing for them as well. So yeah.
100%. I think I'm gonna give Road Dogg at least. I'm gonna give him a chance, benefit of the doubt. There was a lot of bad in 2017 to 2019 WWE, especially on SmackDown, but a lot of that was really Vince. So there's only so much that you could say is Road Dogg. But we'll see how it goes, man. I hope he can make the show better because if you can't make this show better, then I don't know what you can do. But it shouldn't be that hard to make this current version of SmackDown more organized, better to watch, a much just more engaging watch. It's 3 hour time, so and then AJ goes ahead and says, to give him a chance. I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna see how it goes, and I really hope that he can improve SmackDown, man. God, I hope so.
Definitely. So, our last bit of WWE news here today, Ricky Starks, or lack thereof, as per NXT on Tuesday, Ricky Starks' official name in WWE after his contract signing segment on NXT this past Wednesday. As you can see on the paper, his name is no longer Ricky Starks. His name in WWE reads Ricky Saints. Interesting move, man. How are you feeling about the move, and how do you feel about them moving away from the name of Ricky Starks?
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. I dig it, to be honest. I was scared at first when it happened. I got the notification, name change. I was terrified. I was like, oh man,
Same.
if I reach Real London, oh my God, this man might be doomed. He actually might have just had to stay with TK. But I looked at it. I couldn't even find the name because it's, just seems so similar and like just a jumble of words. Found it. Ricky Saints, to be honest, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it fits him. I think it fits, his style, his vibe, and, he's from New Orleans. Saints are a very New Orleans thing. And I feel, and people are asking, oh, why would WWE do this? There has to be some legal reason or what. To be honest, I think this is completely Ricky thing. I think he wanted to change his name, and I think he wanted to make this his identity over here. I think it's a complete Ricky Starks move, in my opinion, and I like it. I actually really like the name. I dig it, and I think it could do a lot of good. And I think it could be good to kind of differentiate what he was in AEW to what he is here. And I think it, in a way, is like a fresh start, almost completely, to a guy where we know his skill, but he had the AEW, history, but now with this new name, it's kind of a different person, but the same person, and it's really intriguing to me. And I like the name, and I think it is a him decision. I think it's a completely him decision, in my opinion. But and a decision that I actually like and I think does well. I like the name change, and that's coming from me. I usually almost always hate the name changes, but I think this one really works, and I think it's a product of Ricky wanting this name change. But what about you? What do you think of this name change, man?
I honestly think this is a case of what happened with Gunther, to where
Mm,
they wanted him to change the name, and he didn't want to tell the company no, and he also wanted to, I guess, find the
challenge.
challenge of building up a new equity in the name, because obviously there was equity in the name Ricky Starks, right? Everybody knows him
Yeah,
as Starks. Everybody knows him as Ricky Starks. And I honestly think this is a thing where maybe he didn't want to, either he didn't want to give the trademark to WWE, even though I know they do like deals where the trademark can instantly go back to him. Um, I think that he didn't. I think that he didn't want to. I think there may have been something maybe along those lines, but overall, I honestly see what happened here was the company wanted him to, change the name and change the IP to something that they completely own. And I think he didn't want to tell the company no. And I think he also wants to embrace the challenge of just trying something new and trying a new clean slate. But I will say, I don't hate the name. Obviously, it's something weird at first, but every new name is weird at first. Let me remind you, the Judgment Day, the the Undisputed Era, you know, I mean, all these different groups and all these different names, and Gunther, you know, was still prefer Walter, but Gunther was weird at
Oh,
first, and
man.
and you know, we've got accustomed to that. We get accustomed to everything. We get accustomed to everything at some point. Ludwig Kaiser, you know, we get used to it, and it ends up being, you know,
Mhm.
like ships passing in the night. So you know, again, I mean, obviously it's weird at first, and when I do catch myself saying Ricky Saints, it still is weird. But it's, again, like Sir K said, it's not Trill London. You know what I mean? It's
No,
not something completely, you know, where's the one? Alan Cornflakes. You know, it's not that. You know, he's still Ricky. You know, he's still Ricky, and it's not even necessarily a completely random last name. As he was on, I think he was on Busted Open talking about Saints. Obviously, he didn't need to go on Busted Open for me to figure this out. But when I heard the name Saints, I immediately
okay, no.
clicked. Oh, okay, he's from New Orleans. You know, I know he's from New Orleans, so I was like, oh, okay, Saints. That makes sense. This man's also probably gunning for a WrestleMania spot in New Orleans next year, which is going to be cool for him.
Oh
But
yeah.
but obviously obviously, you know, we get used to it. And again, the name, it's not something completely random where, you know, I'm sitting here trying to refer to Ricky Starks as Osiris Griffin. But you know, or Trill London or Alan Cornflakes, you know, it's nothing like that. So I mean, again, it's obviously weird now, but as time goes on, Ricky Saints, it'll be, I mean, look at how you know, when Aleister Black came in, you know, it was weird calling him Aleister Black at first. It's like, well, the name is
Mhm.
cool, but it's just weird not calling him Tommy End. Okay, he goes to AEW. It took, you know, again, Malachi Black. It's a cool name. Just took time, and it was weird at first. Um, Same thing with Ricky Starks. We're used to calling him Ricky
Mhm.
Starks. Soon, again, but by this time next year, we'll be referring to him as Ricky Saints. No problem.
Like
So
nothing. Exactly.
yeah, so it is what it is, and it is what it is, and it's, again, we could be sitting in a way worse boat right now.
Mhm.
So yeah. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the name change, man. But what did you guys think about all that? And yeah, Bell says it's not a Gunther, which still fucking annoys me.
Man, if Walter was in Gunther's spot, boy, would that be even 10 times better than it already is. That.
Man,
Oh,
I'll say, if you're at least not gonna call him Walter, please, dear Lord, give him Symphony
that's
Number
all.
9 back. That
Exactly.
at least,
Please.
because that song now, man. Once we get a minute in and the trumpets are going, the trumpets are cool, but the lyrics, ugh,
Like, bro,
like, dude,
I
it's
don't
literally,
need that.
it's they're just singing his name and his nickname.
Yeah. No, well, like, dude, I don't need, I know. It says it on the Tron, yes, I fucking know.
He
He's
has the
just,
ring general on the back of his fucking tights.
it's like,
We know he's the ring general, bro. What are we doing?
I know that's his
I
name,
don't
so I
know.
read the nameplate.
Dude, Walter from Gunther, man. That was
That was
rough.
hard.
Oh,
That was
that was.
probably the roughest ones ever, dude.
At first I remember Ludwig Kaiser being hard too. I
That
could
was
not get
really
off
bad.
calling him Marcel Barthel.
Not at all.
Which is actually kind of weird to say now. So you guys get
Yeah.
what I mean. You guys get what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. You know, Marcel Barthel is a cool name, but I mean, I think Ludwig Kaiser is cool.
Ludwig works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, Gunther works too. And again, I'm glad it's sort of, you know, an older, you know, German name. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad they stayed in that category. But Walter, and hearing Ludwig Kaiser say Walter, I miss it.
Oh, dude,
I
that was the
miss it,
best shit
man.
ever. hearing any like British person say Walter, oh, dude, that shit was the best. Hearing
Yeah.
Regal say that shit would be the best.
Yeah, EO Sky was it flows off the tongue.
Yeah,
It flows off the
it's
tongue.
it's the same just like shape, if that makes sense of name. It's not fucking
Yeah.
EO something else. It's EO Shirai, it's EO Sky. It still flows.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, similar with Ricky Saints, Ricky Starks. It's kind of EO
Exactly.
Shirai, EO Sky. You know,
Hmm.
they both roll off the tongue the same way, in my opinion. So yeah, I didn't mind EO Sky either. And obviously, at first, I was like, ooh, EO Sky. I was like, that's gonna take some getting used to, but it's it's not a bad name. It's just gonna take some getting used to. And now she's just EO Sky. So that it is what it is, man. But I will say, at first, man, I got to admit, I hated the Undisputed Era. I hated
Yeah,
that. I thought that name was horrible. I was like,
Undisputed Era.
because funny enough, at the time, I remember a lot of people wanted them to be called the Dishonored because they all left
Dishonored.
Ring of Honor. And I remember a lot of people wanted them to be called the Dishonored. Now, to me, that name sounds horrible for them. I don't.
Sounds ass. Yeah.
Yeah, that name just it sucks. But no, the Undisputed Era, and I love that name. I love
One of
the
my
Undisputed
favorites.
Era. Yeah, yes,
They
it's
made it work. They did the hand symbol. They
yes,
said undisputed
that is
this, dude. It was
undisputed.
so
Yep.
perfect.
Oh, it was
Mm-hmm.
fucking great, dude. It was great.
They
Man, what are some of the other oh, uh actually, funny enough, I've gotten used to their singles names. I would have never gotten used to that tag team name, but Eric and
no,
Ivar.
still
Th-
doesn't do it for me to
The
this
Vi-
day.
the Viking, I would have never gotten used to the Viking experience. I sort
No,
of kind of got used to the Viking Raiders. I've
it's
gotten used
fine.
to Eric and Ivar. Obviously, I would prefer Hanson and Rowe, but Eric and Ivar are fine for me, I
Fine.
guess.
Yeah. It's just ugh. I would much rather have, the War Raiders of, Hanson and Rowe, but
Ooh,
that's just me, man.
just badass
They
names, bro. Absolutely
just
badass
simple,
names.
badass names, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, Eric and Ivar, I mean, it's again, it's just grown to be something that it's like, okay. Um, I always go back and I wonder how long would it have taken us to get used to Caesar Sokoa if they
Oh,
ended up
that one.
going with that name for Jacob Fatu.
I'm gonna be real. I don't think that one would have ever worked. I think that one would have. That is a fucking Viking experience to me. I'm sorry, Caesar. Jacob Fatu as Caesar would never work. I'm sorry, that would never work.
He does not look like a Caesar at
No.
all. Like that name just does not fit him whatsoever, bro. It does not. But
Remember when, yes, he was just Theory for a little bit when
oh
he was still in
god.
that last
That
name
was
only.
that was so weird, man. And then the reason behind it too is like, Vince didn't want another Austin. Like, dude, get over it. Like who
What are you about?
nobody's tripping that like nobody looks at Austin Theory and goes, "Oh, so they're trying to make the next Stone Cold Steve Austin in him." Like, dude,
What? Yeah, I get if someone walks in with the last name Cena or some shit, you kind of,
yeah,
but like, dude,
something
it's a normal
specific.
ass first name is fine.
I don't know,
Shorty
dude.
G was really bad.
Shorty
Oh,
J. How did you guys take to? I mean, well, I'll just say it anyway. Probably not long. How did you guys? I'm interested to know in chat. How long did it take you guys to get used to calling him just Penta? And how long do you think it's going to take for you guys to get used to just Phoenix?
I think it's easy to get used to because that's what people like just abbreviate to anyways.
That's yeah,
But I would prefer the nameplate still to be their full names. But
yeah,
they people kind of just end up calling that half the time that anyway.
yeah.
So one thing I hate the most is nicknames in their nameplate.
Seth
Seth
freaking
freaking
Rollins.
Rollins.
I knew you were gonna
Adam
say that.
Rated Superstar, Adam Cole. Bro, why is Rated R Superstar in the nameplate?
Oh,
Like, bro, I hate that. That's an element I hate. Keep the nickname unless it's like is a part of their name, which these aren't. Please keep that out there. I don't need Seth freaking Rollins on the nameplate. I'm sorry.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Every time somebody comes out, you don't have to say, "Oh my God, it's the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu." Oh my God, it's the
Mm-hmm.
Tribal Chief Solo Sikoa, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Oh my God, it's
You do
main
have
event
to
Yeet
say it.
Man Jey Uso. Yeah, I mean, Shorty
Like,
G. Holy fuck,
that was
that was a
really
death
bad.
wish. That was
That was they
they tried to set him up for sure. Tried to set him
They
up.
had it out for that man.
Yeah.
It did happens a lot. That used to be that era was something else. The fucking last name only,
Yeah.
or like what they would do with Baron Corbin, where they would just put a fucking new adjective in front of his fucking name
Oh,
every year. Constable, fucking, um, happy,
King,
sad,
Co-
broke.
yeah,
Oh, dude,
Bum,
it was bum,
King. Yeah, so
so
many.
bad, dude.
Um, 1,000%, Bella, 1,000%. That man will absolutely just be called Phoenix. Because
Oh,
there's no way they have another luchador come in with the same first name as Ray.
no.
I don't see that at all. But um, going back to Jacob Fatu, one thing I was gonna mention is I the reason I genuinely thought in my mind he was gonna be called Caesar Sokoa, which would have been funny now, being that that's the Mania match, because it would have been the Battle of the Sokoas, um,
Yeah.
Caesar versus Jacob.
Ew.
But anyways,
Ugh.
I did not see in 1,000 years anybody coming in. I mean, again, that was the old regime. But I did not see anybody coming in with the last name of Fatu. The Usos didn't get to do it. Solo
Mhm.
didn't get to do it. But then again, they all came in under that Vince thing where you had to.
Yep.
Solo Sokoa is another one. I was like, that's an interesting name,
Mm.
because obviously we
Yeah.
all knew him as Sefa or Sifa Fatu. So these guys coming in. But yeah, I did not think for a million years that Jacob Fatu was gonna get the Fatu last name. I thought if anything they would do Jacob Sokoa
Something.
or Jacob something. But Caesar would have never worked.
No, Caesar, that is one of the worst possible name changes I've ever seen. Dude, that would not have worked. That fucking ultimate fucking psycho being called Caesar would not have worked.
Yeah, but one thing I will have to say though, man, it's, and again, this does make me think that, maybe Ricky again didn't want to tell the company no, or he wanted to either protect his intellectual property and not sign anything over at all. Whatever the case is, um it is just a bit, strange to me that, Sean Spears can come in as Sean Spears and Ethan Page can come in as Ethan Page. But then again, maybe they did have maybe there was something where Ricky, either didn't want to sign it over, or the company just wanted him to be something completely original that they can own, and he ended up, not wanting to tell them no, or not wanting to sign something over for a little bit, or whatever the case is. But either way, like I said, we're gonna get used to it, and it's gonna be, how long how long did people shit on the name Braun Breaker? I know I
Yeah.
did.
Oh, I fucking did. I'll still shit on the spelling of it.
The two
But
Ks is still stupid.
it's still like, dude.
Yeah, the two Ks is horrible. I think, maybe one day they can shorten it to maybe just one, and I think that'll be fine. But either way, that's something where a lot of people were like, dude, why isn't he, Bronson Steiner or Bron
Yeah.
Steiner? You know what I mean? But we get used to it, bro. And now,
Mm.
I think it's safe to say I actually fuck with the name Braun Breaker. So yeah,
I think it fits him. He fits a breaker name. He
yes,
really does.
yes, he does. So yeah, but that's the news on Ricky Starks's name change to Ricky Saints. So, with all that, an official word from the official sponsor of what we do here at NHP, W Energy, man. W Energy is an energy drink loaded with vitamins and nootropics, formulated to improve focus without getting the old jitters, man. W Energy is a clean formula, sugar-free, 0-calorie, free from fillers and artificial colorings, with 150 milligrams of caffeine per serving. You can get your W Energy products today with the link below and code NHP at checkout to save yourselves 10% off your next W purchase, man. Whatever you guys want to get. If you guys want to get the tub of the powder version of the energy blend. You guys want to get the cans. You guys need some new shakers. Whatever you need, W's got it to fit your energy needs. So, as always, shout out, as always, to the official sponsor of what we do here at NHP. As always, shout out W.
Really, always got to shout them out. Whether you got to stay awake during workout, anything SmackDown after the Rock segment, you got to stay awake for the next 2 hours. W got you, and they'll keep you awake, most definitely.
Absolutely, man. So, moving on to some AEW news here today, as I don't think anything else from WWE has dropped.
Mm-hmm.
No, not seeing anything. Yep, not seeing anything. All right, well, AEW, man. AEW. So, according to Fightful, Speedball Mike Bailey is reportedly working on getting a visa organized to allow him to debut in AEW. He reportedly signed with the company in late 2024, but getting the visa is something that he is currently working on getting, which has prevented him from debuting up until this point. That's good to know. That is good to know because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, bro. I thought Tony Khan was pulling a Camille. I thought 1,000% he was pulling a Camille. I thought Speedball was just waiting to be used, and Tony Khan was just taking forever. So it's good to at least now know there's a justified reason as to why he's not here. And I believe this happened with Speedball before. I believe this happened with Speedball before, where he was I think they said he had to, like, I think I heard before he had to, like, skip out like years of his career because he didn't have a visa. And
Crazy.
He was like stuck in the UK for years. So, but nonetheless, it's good. Again, it's good to at least know there is a justified reason why all this is happening, because I'm telling you, man, I wholeheartedly thought that Tony Khan Camilled this man and was just not using him. So,
Oh, 100%. I definitely thought he was just not finding anything to do, not calling him, ghosting him like Tony Khan tends to do. But it's a visa problem, very common. I think Ray Phoenix had a visa problem at one point in AEW, and he was out for like a couple months.
yeah, I believe he
I
did.
think I remember that. Shit like that'll always happen, dude, and that shit sucks. But he signed again. Don't really know what he's gonna do when he comes in anyways.
What do you
He'll be a
mean?
guy on the roster for Tony Khan, I guess.
I don't know
But
about that, man. He's I think he's got a one-way ticket to Collision. He's gonna be over there chopping
well,
it up with all the best luchadors the world has to offer.
that poor soul. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll hopefully soon his visa situation can get worked out, man, because that always sucks.
Speaking of luchadors, man, not to throw some shade at AEW mindlessly, but isn't it crazy how WWE markets their luchadors versus at least Pentagon, how they've marketed him versus how AEW um oh
Well, one more WWE story.
well, we do have another WWE story that just dropped. But anyways, yes. So Speedball, or what was I saying? Oh, it's been very interesting to see how Penta has been marketed in WWE versus AEW, because it is Night and day, dude. Literally, man.
And they've been doing a little cool stuff with Bandito. It's kind of more of the circle he's around that's really his killer. But they've been doing like that quick draw stuff in the ring with Bandito, where they like turn their back to each other, and then which is cool because he's the bandit. He's like the cowboy gunslinger thing,
Yeah,
which is really cool. But like you could do even more than what you're doing. Why is he in the Chris Jericho black hole?
dude.
And be doing a lot more. He's cool as shit, and you could be selling his mask, showcasing him more. And this way, it really is night and day.
How you don't sell a Bandito mask is crazy, crazy stuff to me. No, that
Mm,
is true though. That is true. They've done an okay job. I'll give Tony Khan. They've done an okay job with how they've marketed Bandito. Again, I just want to see him get out of the Jericho vortex. I mean, what a shitty vortex that is to be in, man. I mean, it is just, man. I mean, there nothing good comes out of that. And I know Jericho thinks differently, but I could tell you right now, whether you're feuding with him or afterwards, it's not good. It's not good. Whenever
no.
somebody's on screen with Jericho, you just say, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Powerhouse Hobbs, I guess, sort of has the benefit because he's kind of in a feud with Big Bill rather than Jericho. But,
Yeah.
dude, if you're feuding with Jericho, nauseating
Mm-hmm.
television.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So, and that is something that I would love to see, man. I would love to see the use of Bandito go up because not only is he a super nice guy, super fucking nice guy, and they don't have him speak, and I know he can speak English because I've talked to him before. So that's it's another Lucha Bros situation. When Pentagon spoke English, and again, obviously it's broken, but like he can speak it. He can
Sure.
articulate what you know, again, he may not be the most fluent, but you can articulate you can make out what he's trying to say. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
that broken. I swear to God, when I heard Pentagon speak English on Monday Night Raw when he debuted,
So bad.
I dropped my phone on my lap because I'm like, wait a minute. This fucking guy can speak English and he did not speak at all. Same thing with Bandito. I know he can speak English. I've literally talked to the man before and he doesn't speak. He doesn't speak. And his English was pretty good when I met him back in 2018, so I can only imagine it's gotten better.
Improved, I'm sure it has.
Bro, use
Yeah,
Bandito, please.
crazy.
He is way too fucking good. And if you don't want to use him, just saying, he would be a stud in WWE. Just saying, I think they would market him fantastically with the whole bandit thing, and I think that
Oh,
would WWE would just be foaming at the mouth to market that
I
man.
market
So
that shit. Mm-hmm.
yes, but this is the reason Speedball, back to Speedball. This is the reason Speedball is not currently in AEW right now, is he did not get Camilled. As a matter of fact, he is um after he has not been in AEW as of late. Okay, so we have two new WWE stories that dropped actually here real quick.
Another one.
According to Bill Bahidi on the Wrestling Informer podcast, WWE has struggled to move additional tickets since Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble, and WWE is looking towards The Rock to help boost sales for that event. I could tell you the number one reason why WWE has struggled to move additional tickets for WrestleMania, and it's not because of Jey Uso. It's not because
Oh,
WrestleMania isn't star-studded. It's not because of Gunther. It's not because of any
Cody.
of that. It's not
Mm-hmm.
because of Cody. It's not because of John. It's not. It's because you've marketed WrestleMania as a fucking Super Bowl, and
Yeah.
actual fans with actual regular paying jobs and lives want to go to WrestleMania but nobody can fucking afford it.
No, it's not for Mania. An in-person a live at Mania is not for your fans anymore. It's like a UFC show. It's like a Super Bowl where it's just a bunch of rich people. That's most of them aren't your fans. Hey,
Yes,
you
they're
have
going
fucking
there for
executives.
yes, they're going there for status. They're going there to be seen
Mhm.
on television. That's what people go to the Super Bowl for. And again, and two, the NFL is way bigger than professional
Oh,
wrestling. Okay? So you have to you have to scale those prices down, man. Again, and again, anybody can say up and down. Well, just save up. Save up.
no,
You
save
expect
up
a
what, five?
regular you expect somebody with a regular paying job and a regular paying a regular paying job with a family who, and again, you market your product towards families, yet
Mm-hmm.
if you want to sit
Mm-hmm.
close, it's 3 grand a night.
Yeah,
Who
fucking right.
So if you have a family of 4, that's 3,000 per person. You want to bring you want to bring the wife, you want to bring the 2 kids, right? 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 12 grand. That is $24,000 if you want to go for 2 nights. Who the fuck other than other than the fucking CEO of McDonald's is going to that?
Like, bro, this isn't the reason your tickets aren't selling is because families can't go. People can't take their kids. Wrestling fans can't go with their dad or their sister to this. They can't. It's too expensive, dude. SummerSlam is too expensive. Let alone WrestleMania, dude. I see people
Yes.
every time we get a pay-per-view. People are complaining about the ticket prices, and justly, they're complaining about the backlash ticket prices, the this ticket because they're too expensive. Normal people cannot attend these shows anymore.
Yeah. And I really wish one of these fucking dorks would mention this to Triple H on one of these media scrums, because again, you can, you could, trolls online, can make fun of people all they want for not wanting to attend the shows because of the ticket prices, because oh they're broke or whatever or this or that. But dude, it's life, bro. It's fucking life. Not everybody's a millionaire, but people still want to come out to these events and have fun. But you can't fucking do that when the event is
No,
$25,000 for 2 nights. Who the fuck is sitting ringside at WrestleMania and paying $50,000 for 2 nights? And again,
it's insane.
you can get away with it with the Super Bowl because the NFL is fucking 7 times bigger than professional wrestling is. But
Super
again,
Bowl got 100+ million people watching. Hate to break it to you, Mania ain't never getting close to that number. I'm sorry.
and you do have some celebrities that are going to want to come out to WrestleMania. You're going to get your George Kittles, and you're going to get your Macaulay Culkins, and you're going to get those kind of people. Obviously you do have a lot of people that do want to come out to the shows, but not as much as the Super Bowl. Look at how many celebrities are at the Super Bowl versus how many celebrities are at fucking WrestleMania.
Night and day, night and
It's
day,
night and day.
and the celebrities that are there are wrestling fans. They're there because they like to watch it.
Yes,
Macaulay Culkin sold his Mania tickets one year because the Fiend got buried. Goat,
forever in
like
my heart, Macaulay.
forever goated. He'll always get that respect, man. But like, dude, it's not possible. There's a reason your tickets aren't selling.
Yeah, Bell,
Concerts are very expensive.
you don't have to apologize for
Very.
anything. I think we're all venting here. I,
Oh, it's a Vent City. It's a
I,
money Vent
a
City right now.
thousand. I think yes. I mean, it's it is fucking ridiculous, bro. But personally, I'm not a concert guy, but from everything I hear about concerts, I
Oh,
my heart goes out to you
mhm.
concert people, because I'll watch a concert on YouTube because I like the live atmosphere, but being there, not really for me. I'll sit up in
Yeah.
a skybox where I'm not in like a mosh pit, or I'm not like in a crowd of everybody jumping on the floor all together. I'll jump in the stands on my seat, but when CM Punk comes out or whatever. But um
right on people's food.
Floor seats where there's no seats and everybody's just standing. Oh hell no. But
No,
my
that sounds
my my
horrible.
heart my heart goes out to you guys because I hear horrible things about concert prices. But again, you're counting on The Rock. I'm sorry, but unfortunately, not even The Rock is going to make
No.
somebody with a regular paying job just appear with $3,000 in his bank account like that to afford a Mania
Oh,
ticket. I mean, that's just how
oh,
it is, bro. That's just
Rock's there. I gotta go to the bank. I gotta get a loan. Like, it's not happening. I'm sorry.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure. And what they
No,
fail to realize is, I'm sure The Rock will move some tickets, bro. But WrestleMania is the draw.
that's
If
the whole
it's
point.
people come out to WrestleMania whether The Rock is there or not. How many times do
Mhm.
you hear people say, I need to go to a WrestleMania? They don't need to say, I need to go to
Mhm.
the WrestleMania The Rock's on. People just want to go to a WrestleMania because it's fucking WrestleMania. We were going to
Mhm.
go to WrestleMania this year if it was in Minnesota. But again, man, you for the regular working class people, it doesn't matter who's on the show. It's not going to make 12 grand pop up in their bank account so they can afford for the family to go to WrestleMania.
No.
You need to be realistic. You're professional wrestling, you're not the NFL, and your shows are not on that level. They're not. Nobody's paying those fucking prices, dude. I'm sorry. It's just
No.
it's what it is. It's what it is. And for as shitty as the Vince McMahon regime was, at the very least, those Mania prices were somewhat doable.
You could bring your family to a show at the end of the day.
I know a lot of people that were. I know a guy that was going to bring his whole entire family. I want to say of four to Mania 36, but obviously then COVID happened. But you can afford that. You can afford that
Mhm.
in that Vince regime because the prices for Mania were somewhat reasonable. Um, $25,000 a night, you can take that and shove it up your ass. I don't care who is
Mm.
on the show. Imagine, imagine you want to sit somewhere close for WrestleMania with ticket prices like that, bringing your whole family to the show. And again,
Dude,
you can, IWC can make fun of people all they want. I think they're the last people that need to be making fun of people for being broke or whatever, but it's the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is in today's world, things are fucking expensive. And
very fucking expensive.
and again, WWE is not the NFL, and they need to wake the fuck up very
Mhm.
soon before it hits them hard in the face. Because again, you're concerned about this now, and the product is hot. Imagine. Imagine.
Dude, it's gonna go down. Product's gonna cool off at some point. It's inevitable.
I mean, come on, bro. That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous work to me, man. And again, thinking The Rock again is going to automatically magically appear 20 grand in somebody's bank account to come to Mania. I mean, give me a break.
Literally.
So, and also with that, man, Carmella is no longer under WWE contract as mm, let's see. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, the former SmackDown Women's Champion's contract has expired, and she is technically no longer with WWE. Well, maybe one day she can resign, but I'll say this: I'm good on WWE for not tacking on time.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. So
No, 100%, dude. Wish the best for, whatever she does. If I don't think she'll be wrestling, at least outside of
yeah,
WWE. I really don't see it. So maybe one day she'll come back and that would be awesome, but just wish the best for her.
definitely. And depending on where Corey Graves is with the company, she could always come back because at least I think they love Corey. They might be in a they
Yeah.
might it might be a little rocky right now, but I think Corey will be fine.
I think overall, I mean, they did have that motherfucker Vic Joseph And we got a damn main roster instead of Corey, so it ain't looking too good.
Yes, but it could just be the immediate after effect punishment. I think,
Oh,
as time moves on, I think they'll
it'll be
slowly forgive
fine.
him and he'll, gain his trust back, hopefully, because he's
I
fucking
hope so.
phenomenal.
He's insane.
So back to some AEW stuff. Back to some AEW stuff, man. AEW talent is reportedly frustrated over lack of production meetings before the event.
No way.
No
No way.
way.
They botched Tony Storm's entrance on Wednesday, bro. Like, come on.
My man
How
Lonnie, how are you, brother?
you doing, Lonnie?
According to The Observer, Brian Alvarez revealed that AEW does not do production meetings. Probably has a lot
No
to do with the
way.
fact that nobody knows what the fuck they're doing creatively, which has caused frustration amongst some people in the company. Brian Alvarez mentioned every week he hears complaints from AEW talent wondering why the company doesn't have these meetings. Alvarez pointed out a recent issue involving Thunder Rosa during the February 19th edition of AEW, where she and Megan Bayne had a very awkward run-in. Yes, I had this
Dude,
noted
that
for
was awkward.
Monday. What the fuck was that? I'm
What
so
was
I'm
Megan
so glad I'm
doing?
reading this. Dude, Thunder Rosa comes in with a chair and they're just like standing there not intimidated at all, and Thunder Rosa's like she's
Listen,
like, yeah, I'm gonna hit your ass if you don't get out of here. And they're just standing there like, and then what the fuck was? Anyways, okay.
man. Well, I will say Penelope Ford was in that Britt Baker camp. I'm gonna say that, but we'll continue on.
You might be onto something with that, bro. I didn't think of that. um,
So they sandbagged her again. That's crazy.
Alvarez stated this was a mess that could have been avoided if proper planning was put in place. Despite the concerns, Tony Khan has refused to hold production meetings, leading to repeated problems on AEW shows. He goes on to say, and I quote, the bigger story here than this was just such a fucking disaster. It's not a week goes by, not 1 week goes by where somebody from AEW, without somebody from AEW saying, why the fuck don't we have production meetings? We need production meetings. Things happen on every show where if we had a production meeting, they wouldn't happen. But Tony Khan refuses to do production meetings, and here we are. This is another one. What the fuck happened here? Nobody knows. I don't get a single good explanation for it. It was just everybody was on a different page. You just made the baby face look like an absolute idiot, and away we go.
Mhm. Yep.
I'm so
Oh,
glad this was brought up because I noted this for Dynamite, and this literally just dropped as we've been live.
mm,
But I'm so glad that was brought up because, again, dude, what in the blue hell was that segment? It's almost like he doesn't want responsibility. I
no,
don't know
he's
what to say
refusing it.
anymore, bro. I
It's he's literally just a rich kid playing with money. No, I don't want to do that. That sounds like work, man. I'm gonna just go ahead and make these matches. Like, dude, just have someone else do that then. It's like, what the fuck?
bro, even what we do here. Again,
Mm,
what we do here is obviously nowhere near as big as AEW, and even I wouldn't call it a production meeting, but even we have certain discussions every week. Hey,
yeah,
we're gonna do blah blah blah. I'm gonna hit this, and
yeah,
then I'll talk
mm,
about this, blah blah blah. We're gonna do this, da da da. We gotta announce this, such and such. Simple. It's
yeah.
simple. 20-minute conversation, 30-minute conversation. Oh, what did you want to do for this? Oh, how about we do that? Blah, da 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 da. Put it all together. Boom. There's your production meeting. Even
Dude, it's that
even we
simple.
have just simple things where even
You
we
can
have
discuss.
yes, where you just do it. You just do it because I don't know, you fucking have to. It's just how do you it's almost like how do you run a show and we do that kind of shit. They're on
Mm-hmm.
live television. They're on live
Every week.
television simulcasting every week and
And
you
it's
don't
just,
have a
there's
production
something.
meeting?
Like, what? Uh,
Oh,
I don't understand that. They literally just hit the live button and just say fuck it. That's crazy work to me.
and the fact that Alvarez says he hears that every week.
Every week we have something to say about it. They fucked this up. This was weird. This was awkward. This looked bad. There was this sound thing. There was this. Every week, at least one. And commentary's its a whole different beast. That's its own category of production fuck ups, dude. Literally its own category.
I don't know, man.
Makes no sense.
Crazy work. Crazy work. Lonnie says, do we need a third co-host? Okay, do we need a third co-host? Maybe we have a production meeting about this.
Maybe we have a production meeting, something Tony Khan wouldn't do. But, you never know what the future might entail.
Yeah, where's our manager when we need him? I don't know, Lonnie.
Exactly.
Are you trying to be the third co-host? Maybe Belle's trying to be the third co-host.
Hey, Bill. You
Belle,
never
are you
know,
trying to
man.
be the
You never
third
know.
co-host? Is that
Trying
what's going on here?
to,
Maybe that's
hmm,
why she's been in chat heckling us.
maybe.
Maybe that's why.
Exactly. Maybe she wants to just heckle us live. Get her live reaction.
Probably. She probably would enjoy that. Well,
Probably.
speaking of enjoyment, according to AEW, AEW Double or Nothing 2025 will take place on May 25th at the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona. Holy shit.
Look at that. A different location, dude.
And a
Fucking
different
final.
same logo, but look at that color scheme, bro.
Oh, dude, the neon around the
Dude,
cactuses and dude, that
the
is
Neon
sick.
Desert is tough, bro.
That's
That is
sick.
tough.
And theme, dude. Like this is what you need to do. They're doing it for Revolution this year. Thank God. Different theme. Do it for Double or Nothing. Do it for all of them. I like the all-in one this year. It's got the whole Texas sign saloon theme. It's sick. Keep this up, please. I want fresh locations and just fresh environments for these shows. Please keep this up. This is great.
Bro, do you see what we have been talking about when
Mm-hmm.
we've been telling you guys this is why they need to move locations. This, hopefully the show booking feels fresh, but dude, again, same logo, same idea. I personally I would have liked if they did a complete revolution and just went with a completely different logo for Double or Nothing, but even at this, the blue, the I don't know, like turquoise, the turquoise with the silver as opposed to the red, white, and blue that's normally done for Double or Nothing, and the neon desert theme rather than casino theme, that's fucking beautiful.
Oh,
This is what
it's
I've been
insane.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, absolutely, absolutely amazing work. And I am so glad. Now, on Dynamite, they played a they played or they showed this graphic. They showed this graphic, but the graphic said Phoenix, Arizona, and it's actually in Glendale, Arizona. Now they're only like 20 minutes away from each other, so it doesn't make that much of a difference, I guess. But I don't know if they only played the graphic because they were in Phoenix, so they wanted to pop the live crowd with a fake graphic. But it is in Glendale. It's not in Phoenix. I know on Dynamite, like I said, the graphic said Phoenix for some reason. But luckily, they're only about 20 minutes away from each other, so it's not really that much of a not much of a hassle, I guess.
I was gonna say it feels like what they do over here. No matter where they are in Illinois, they're gonna say Chicago. I think it's kind of one of
Yes,
those things to me.
100%, 100%. Yeah, because they do the same thing with All Out. They say it's in Chicago, Illinois, but it's like an hour away from Chicago and Schaumburg.
Yeah,
So it
it's
I think it's one of those things, which I guess is better, I
um,
guess, being that it's only 20 minutes away from Phoenix as opposed to an hour away from Chicago. That is not Chicago at all.
so
Um,
far from Chicago, dude. So
yeah.
far.
So, and technically it's not even in Schaumburg. It's technically in Hoffman Estates, but, Schaumburg's
Yeah,
the big town, I guess,
the
right
Airs.
next to it. So, um, but I'm happy. I love this, man. I think this was a great I think this was a great idea to switch the venues, and like Belle said, now that she's done trying to be the third co-host, she says, to be fair, you can't do it in Las Vegas because WrestleMania is obviously going to be there a
Mhm.
month prior to that. So, it's it'll who's to say it may not who's to say good lord, who's to say it may not shake things up a little bit. um if we went on at 4, this would have been the craziest shakeup of all, because now we're getting fucking news again from WWE. WWE is holding a post SmackDown press conference amid major shakeups. He's got to be at WrestleMania. It's got to be
I think
Rock and Roman at
it is.
WrestleMania. There's no
It's got.
way you're holding a post press. I mean, unless they're just doing it to promote Mania next year. I don't know what the fuck they got going on. This is
I
ridiculous.
have no clue. I gotta hit the classic this year of I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
You and me both, bro. You and me both. So, yes. So that's our insight from the third co-host herself, Belle. Um, Maybe one day we should do a round table. We should get
Good.
all
Everybody,
all
all the mob.
all the chat in here and just see what we can muster up for a couple hours.
Oh god.
Might be rather hectic, but should be funny.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Really fun.
so Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander. According to Fightful Select, Josh Alexander is expected to sign with AEW if he has not already. Dave Meltzer would go on and further elaborate on the Josh Alexander situation. He said, Josh Alexander reportedly signed with the highest bidder between AEW and WWE. He was going to AEW or WWE, and it looks like AEW, but I do know two things. Number one, he has decided where he was going, and number two, it was whoever the highest bidder was for him. So the story is that it's AEW, and I know those were the two key decision points. Providing the best for his family was a key, and somebody offered a better deal than the other, so that's the one he took.
Bro. Tony Khan can't help himself, dude. He's gotta spend money, dude. Unless it's to ship a ring, he won't spend money for that. But
No.
for a wrestling contract, dude, he's always just gonna spend that money. That's crazy. Ah, I mean, good for Josh Alexander, securing his family, all that, obviously. But man, if you're thinking about career, good luck, man. Good luck, because he's not gonna be on TV that much at all, man. But he's gonna be getting paid. A lot of people do that in AEW, so it's nothing different in AEW.
So when you're talking about, a grown man deciding where he wants to work next, the money part I get, because he has a family.
Mm-hmm.
I get he wanted to go to the highest bidder to provide what's best for his family. I completely 1,000% understand that. I do. I really do. However, talking about this from a career standpoint and from a creative standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
this is the wrong decision. Like blinking red lights. I mean, that is a wrong fucking decision, dude. Josh Alexander is going to, upon arrival, and if he has signed there, you can already say he is. When I say upon arrival, I would even say before arrival, this man is already
Mm-hmm.
lost in the shuffle.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to do anything with Josh Alexander. I could tell you right now, on this day, you are not going to do anything with Josh Alexander other than have him in random ass matches because it's going to be a banger match. That's a foregone conclusion. And what I don't get from a creative standpoint, how the fuck do all these guys sign with AEW when NXT is wide
Yeah.
open? And two, with Josh Alexander, he has a built-in story, being that Ethan Page is on the brand. We could have got the North.
Mm-hmm. Could have got the North. But no.
But now he is going south in his career trajectory with All Elite Wrestling. Again, creatively, as a man, you want to provide for your family. You want to go with the highest amount of money to, set your family up for generations. Get it. Cool. Great. Happy for him. Creatively, this is one of the. I was shocked when I heard this news. I don't fucking understand it at all. At all. I truly don't understand it, and I think wholeheartedly he had a better shot in a tag team in WWE with Ethan Page, because Ethan Page has already established himself on NXT. Those guys as a tag team, and we all fucking know how much WWE needs tag teams, they could have been great. They could have been fucking great. You could add the North on there with the War Raiders, Guerrillas of Destiny, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, a bunch of groups. Obviously, a bunch of Fraxium, all that shit gone. And again, from a money perspective, I get it. From a creative perspective, this is man. This is a shit move, bro. I can't lie.
Mm-hmm. 100%, dude. I good for him again, but and creatively, he's never gonna be used in AEW. Never. And if he does get used, it'll just have a lot of fans asking, why is he being used and not said person of a bigger name?
Yeah, so yet again, we have another guy passing on the NXT men's division that sorely needs help. And I know Ricky Starks is there now, and I honestly think it would be safe to say Daniel Garcia is feeling the same way.
Oh, he better.
So much for
Sort of
building the
feeling.
company around him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bell, I'm not neglecting our manager. As a matter of fact, Logan already knows he is grandfather's in. All he has to do is say the word and he's
Yeah,
on. And
up to
he's
him.
on. So Bell Bell could maybe be okay, is Bell trying to be the fourth co-host, I guess?
I
Unreal.
don't know how many people we're gonna have. That's insane.
We're gonna have a big lineup. But um I don't know, man. Crazy work. Crazy work, man. And again, I don't understand. I don't understand. But felt what he had to do was right for his family. Gotta respect it. So I'm happy for Josh Alexander. I'm happy he got paid, but creatively, he's gonna be, I know he's gonna be so unhappy. He's gonna be so
Oh
unhappy in
yeah,
AEW. So
1,000%.
so yeah, that is that. We got everybody fucking taking numbers like we're running a fucking deli or
Does it
something over here. Who's the
go like that?
sixth?
People got their fucking mania, their fucking Royal Rumble numbers. God damn.
um. So, all right. And for our final story for the day,
Mm-hmm.
Tony Khan. Yikes.
Oh boy, good old Tony Khan.
On July 29th, 2024, I remember that because it was we reported this on the August 2nd episode. That was our thumbnail for the original rebrand episode of the podcast. Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
Just had to throw that
Funny.
out there. So on July 29th, 2024, Tony Khan and Shane McMahon had a private meeting near the Arlington airport. It was their first direct conversation. Even though Khan wanted to meet McMahon before, they discussed possible ways to work together, leading to rumors about McMahon's potential role in AEW. While speaking on Behind the Turnbuckle, Jonathan Coachman mentioned how people started talking when a picture of Shane McMahon and Tony Khan came out with rumors that McMahon wanted to join AEW. However, all the talk suddenly stopped as there's been no indication any progress was made. According to Coachman, Shane McMahon asked for a significant deal, including equity in the company and control over the entire show. He noted it was one of the rare times he agreed with Tony Khan's decision, said Coachman, as Khan ultimately ghosted McMahon rather than the other way around. He goes on to say, and I quote, "I remember the picture surfaced with Shane meeting Tony Khan, and there was all the speculation that he wanted to come into AEW. Then all of a sudden, that talk just disappeared. Well, I have it on good authority that Shane McMahon asked for the world. He wanted equity in the company. He wanted to come in and run the entire show. And honestly, it was probably the first time I said to myself, I actually agree with Tony Khan ghosting him because Tony ghosted Shane. It was not the other way around. Now, we did get further insight into this whole situation with a report from Fightful Select. And according to Fightful, a source close to McMahon confirmed that Khan made no effort to continue discussions after their private meeting near Arlington Airport. While rumors swirled that McMahon asked for equity in the company, the source could not confirm that, but did acknowledge that Shane wanted to run things. The issue is that McMahon did not have the product knowledge or familiarity with AEW's business model to back it up. Could have been a good thing. It seemed like Khan almost thought Shane was joking when he mentioned the possibility of running everything. Despite AEW's lack of response, Shane apparently did not take it personally and understood nothing was going to come from the talks. The source added that McMahon views his experience in wrestling as valuable after years of fans and industry figures wanting a non-Vince McMahon figure to take control. From AEW side, sources state Tony Khan never talked much about the meeting, only mentioning that the two sides had met and that nothing was in the works. Those we've spoken to within AEW say that Khan hadn't spoken about it extensively, outside of noting that the two sides simply met and aren't working together. However, one possibility isn't completely off the table, and that being a one-time cameo. The source close to McMahon that we spoke to stated that they wouldn't rule out a cameo appearance, but didn't think they would extensively do business together at this stage. Wow.
Man. Ooh, that's a lot.
A lot to unpack here. So, to be honest, I see a lot of people, ragging on Tony Khan for ghosting Shane. I wholeheartedly
don't blame him.
I really do not blame him. First of all, Tony Khan has expressed on multiple occasions that this company is never going public. That's the first thing. Tony Khan wants to be in ultimate control, and that's it. Do I think Shane had something to offer business model wise? I do.
Oh yeah.
Where, I think maybe bringing somebody in that doesn't have the knowledge of AEW's product could maybe help the company in a business direction. And
Mhm.
maybe Shane could have helped in a creative direction, but the whole thing with this is, if we go back to the first article, here, so he wanted to he wanted equity in the company and he wanted control over the entire show. Tony
Uh,
Khan, okay, so well, obviously the equity thing is trash because again, we all know that Tony Khan is not. Nobody's getting equity in this company, so you can immediately throw that right out the window. He wanted equity in the company and he wanted to run the show. If I'm Tony Khan, I could see why he would be on edge because this is the first time you've met him. He's already asking for all this crazy stuff, and on top of all of this, he's a McMahon. So what are your
yeah.
true intentions, right? um what are your true intentions here, right? I just met you. I can't necessarily say that I trust you, and you're asking for creative control and equity in my company. What I would have done if I was Tony Khan, I don't think I would have ghosted him. I wouldn't have
No.
ghosted him, but we all know that being a Tony Khan thing to do. He loves to ghost people. He loves to all of a sudden put people on ice, not speak to people. That's Tony Khan's MO, right? He loves ghosting people, and there's just nothing after that. So he doesn't like confrontation, and he is not, really the most stand up of dudes, right? Um
No.
we know this about Tony, and he but again, man, if I were to bring Shane in, because on it there are things business wise I think Shane could help with. And again, I think somebody with a different perspective of business could be good for AEW because their business is overall ran like shit. And I think
Mhm.
that I think that Shane did have some things to offer. Again, being that his product knowledge is not that is not, that great with AEW. But I will say, man, creatively, Shane, from what we've seen from Shane, man, I'm sorry, Shane is just not that. He's not. He does
Right.
not strike me as that good creatively. The last time we're hearing about Shane McMahon creatively, this guy is booking himself to win the 2022 Royal Rumble and eliminating half the fucking field. This guy got together a group with Drew McIntyre and the Revival and was talking about these guys are the four horsemen of today's era. I mean, what the fuck is even that?
Raw underground.
It's bad. It's bad. Okay.
Oh.
Shane McMahon in a creative spot is not that good, bro. His perspective, his perspective is way off. Um, Not to say that Tony Khan is some creative god. Tony Khan needs a guy like Triple H or a guy like, I don't know, William Regal, that would have been very instrumental in storytelling,
Organization.
storytelling, pushing stories. And
Mm.
Tony Khan needs somebody that has a storytelling mentality that is going to tell him no. And now, I'm sure a lot of people try to tell him no, but again, the company's his and he can just override them and do what the fuck he
Mhm.
wants. But not giving Shane McMahon some sort of creative, thing is I honestly I don't blame him. And the equity thing, again, we all know Tony Khan is not doing that. But where I would have brought Shane in. This is what I would have done. I wouldn't have ghosted him. I would have
No.
brought him in and I would have started him off with an on-screen role. Okay, we're gonna make you the GM of Collision, or we're gonna make you the GM of Dynamite, right? I would have did something like that, and I would have eased him up, and I would have built equity and trust in a relationship between those two. Okay, we're going to start you off as an on-screen role. As time goes on, maybe ask Shane here or there, hey, what do you think we should do with this storyline? Just to see where his head's at, just to see if his booking head is screwed on straight. Okay, and now you can do that. Okay, now I'm going to ask you business-related questions. Then
Mm.
start dabbling, into that area. Or you could do vice versa. You could do the business first, being that that's where I think
More of
Shane's
a cup of tea.
that's where I think his genius lies, in just the overall business model backstage and how everything is run back there. I think Shane can help there. And, again, then once you move up from that, then maybe we could start to talk about him actually helping running the show. But I honestly completely understand where Tony Khan is coming from, just kind of stopping him at the door. I wouldn't have ghosted the guy. I would have
No.
gave him a shot, and I would have just told him, man, like, look, maybe we could do something where we build up into you helping me run things on the show, but let's start
Mm.
this from stage 1. Let's not jump to, final boss levels of your position in the company yet. So that's what I
Totally.
would have done. And this story is pretty crazy, man, being that now I guess we're getting the official reason as to why Shane McMahon wanted to come into AEW. And to be 100% honest, bro, I really don't blame Tony Khan for stopping this where it is. I wouldn't have gone about it in the way of ghosting the man. But I do understand Tony Khan putting his foot down here, man. So, and saying no to something. I wish he would do that with some things on television and with some people booking their own creative.
Hmm.
Maybe he can or maybe Tony Khan should say yes to a production meeting or two. But regardless, I honestly don't blame him here, man. But I know it's a lot to unpack here, bro. But what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
We have very similar thoughts on this, man. I do understand why he would be so, I mean, taken aback. I mean, it's your first time meeting the guy, and he's talking about running the whole thing and getting equity in the that'll toss you, that'll throw you off. You're gonna back off. Be like, what the fuck? Again, I wouldn't have ghosted him, even though it's really a Tony Khan pattern of ghosting. I wouldn't have done it. Like you said, I would have given him some type of a chance and some sort of, role on a team maybe, or I'll ask you for input here and there, see what you could do. Do you think we should move this pay-per-view to this? Do you think we should do simple little, just general, more production and business related stuff than creative stuff, definitely. I would have gave him a chance. And I think Shane would have been good in that role. Again, the creative aspect, I don't know too much about that. He's Raw Underground. He's wanting to win the Royal Rumble and have the Four Horsemen with FTR and Drew McIntyre and doing this and that. And he's ambitious. I'll give him that. He is a very ambitious person. But his ambition can be kind of not for me a lot of the times, and not for a lot of wrestling fans. So I think he would have been, good, production and business wise. I think he really could have helped. And I think if Tony Khan was smart and he had a team of people around him that did various things, I think he could easily been a member of that team. But Tony Khan doesn't have a team. They say he has a team. He has a team, Will Washington and all those frauds, but they don't do nothing. It's all Tony Khan. We all know it. So if Tony Khan had a real team, I would definitely let him, try out being on that team, see how things work out. I wouldn't have ghosted him, but I do understand why Tony Khan really didn't want to work with that because that's a lot in one moment, and that's a lot of risk. At the end of the day, he is a McMahon. You always have to be careful. You are competition to his father, or at one point was competition to his father. Now it's really competition to your brother-in-law, but and you don't really like. But it's its own little thing, man. But maybe Shane did have really good intention. Maybe it's Shane kind of wanting to, low key a friendly fu to his family of, hey, look what I can do. I don't need you guys. You guys are kind of Benoit and me from your company, I'm gonna go help this other one, and look what I could do for them. You know, don't you wish you had me? I could see that being a part of Shane's mentality into this, which I can definitely understand because we talked about it when that was a story of, WWE kind of, black, in a way, kind of going away from the Shane McMahons, and it's tough, and I would definitely feel some type of way if I was Shane, so I could maybe see that as his way of one-upping them and being like, look what I could have done for you. I could have definitely seen that, man. But I do understand Tony Khan's, fear in a McMahon and wanting that much power that instantly. That's risky. But if I was him, I would have made him a part of a team. I would have let him prove himself, all this and all that. And I think he would have helped with a lot with the business and production aspects. But you know, it's Tony Khan. They don't even do business or production meetings, and Tony Khan's going to continue to pour money into this company, pour money into random contracts, and not shipping a ring out. But Tony Khan's going to continue to do what he does, and no one's going to get in his way, man. Not a Shane McMahon, not nothing. So I do understand the aspect of definitely not letting Shane just do all what he wanted, but I definitely would have tried to work with him at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, yeah, that is pretty much. That is
Yeah,
pretty much that is pretty much everything. That's pretty much everything we got here today for you guys, man. So, yeah, it is definitely interesting. It is definitely interesting the whole situation, but unfortunately, man, I think Shane might have scared Tony Khan off for good with
I think he did.
which kind of sucks because Tony, we all know Tony needs the business and the fucking creative help
Hmm.
tremendously. But
Oh yeah.
regardless, yeah, so that is everything here today for you guys, man. Thank you guys so very much for joining us here today on this episode. And the next time we talk to you guys could be a very interesting conversation because man, we are just 3 or so hours away from knowing what the
Man.
fuck is going on. Um,
Hmm.
so the next time we talk to you guys on Monday, we could be having a very interesting talk, and I'm very interested to see what is going on, man. So yeah, this should be interesting. Come unscripted, man. So with all of that, that is going to do it for this edition of NHP. This has been episode 254. Thank you guys so very much for joining us here today on this episode of the Newsman. And yeah, come next week.
Hmm.
We will have Elimination Chamber. We'll have the Elimination Chamber predictions. It'll
Oh
be
yeah.
Elimination Chamber weekend. And yeah, so with all of that, man, yeah, that's everything we got here today for you guys, man. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. Everybody who came out, man. Lonnie, of course, the fourth co-host, Bill. The fifth
Hmm.
co-host, Hunter. uh, my, my man Hunter. Uh, Logan Rainmaker. Jesus. Logan Rainmaker, JT, thank you guys so very much for joining us here today. As that is going to do it for this edition of NHP. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. Let us know what you guys think about whatever the hell happens here in a couple hours. Thank you guys so very much for joining us here today on this episode of 254. It has been always a pleasure for my Johnny.
Yes, okay.
And that is going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so very much. Thank you guys. We love you guys. Enjoy SmackDown and buckle the fuck up. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys on Monday with NHP Unscripted.
Peace.